Can he make it sing this round? Clicking on the back of the heads, good for one so far. And this is Rob's. Oh, removed. That's going to give Na'Vi an opening towards the A side. They have to finish up and plant here. The CT's not wasting any time. They want to get these headshots. Flamey still over 100 HP. He can win this round, but it'll take two very crisp shots indeed. First one, not delivered.
4 for 4 in pistols right now for Mousesports. That could be the difference in the series at this point in time. Keep in mind how close it was on Dust 2, 16-14. And this one's equally as close. Couple of pigeons, I think, back there.
Yeah, they've come out of nowhere. They're really focusing this part of the room.
It's you, Henry.
Keep the umbrellas up.
It's good luck, apparently, to be pooped on by a bird. But I've only ever been told that by someone who has been pooped on by a bird. I think it's like justification.
Yeah, I have been a few times. While playing at LAN. That was a thing. Here are the odds brought to you by GG.bet. Mousesports, the clear favorites. They are live odds. As we go into the second half now, they did pick up the pistol. And we'll see the FAMASs come through. It's going to be Chris J just on a deagle up against the Krieg, the AK-47, a force buy from Na'Vi. 3 smokes. Flashes available. In terms of map control, they've been locked out of B. You can see the CT smokes down towards T steps. Now, does that funnel these rifles towards middle? Good smoke. I think they go through that. Maybe not.
Voxic still holding out the top line. Backs off the wall. Moves deeper inside of the site of the platform. So Na'Vi reset, and they try to put some attention toward B. They're going to use their utility toward Banana doing so, and that just to clear a bit of a pathway for them. Frozen, he'll peek this. He's got confidence. He knows he has the weapon, but he doesn't necessarily need to overextend or give that away for any careless reason. So back to the site he goes. It's always a fine line defensively in these rounds. I talked about offensively when you're in an anti-eco situation because you want to clear out the angle, you want to still execute, you want to nullify any chance of being caught off. But as a CT, you don't want to run the risk of giving a gun away, but you also don't want to back off so much that they can overwhelm you in this site. So there is sort of a balance in how you keep control of the map. And you can see how sort of timid they're being, but they have good crossfires established.
20 seconds here, Matt. It's nice, it's methodical, but will they have enough time to finish this one off? Na'Vi now fully committed to the site. It's the Desert Eagle from Chris J. He's low HP, looking for the headshot, delivering now. The FAMAS remains strong. Bomb planted, but a 4 versus 2, but it's Boomich and Simple. Certainly capable of winning this one, but the CTs can't challenge until the rotations come through from CT spawn. That's going to be Frozen and Carrigan.
And Simple knows that there's 2 inside of the pit. So does Boomich. He's going to watch it with the Krieg, but Simple's aware that the rotations are not going to be coming top mid. He'll hear it. Tried to get Boomich in a better position to cover library. Now everyone's going to face against Simple. I think he was expecting a repeat from the right rather than the left.
Yeah.
And Mousesports finding another round 11 now to their name.
Had they got a few more kills there with the bomb planted, you could justify another force into this next round, but without the kills, I'm not sure it's worth it. A partial buy for sure, but I don't see them fully committed here. Chris J, 19 HP in the pit, opted for just the Desert Eagle in this round, and it works out for him. Very big kill from the pit position. I like that, the fact that it stayed alive in the pit there, not challenging, just making sure they had absolutely every chance of getting trades when their teammates arrived. Very, very well done. And as I mentioned, partial buy looking likely here. You can always win these rounds, and Na'Vi win a lot of pistols. Not so much at the beginning of the half, but in the mid stages, that's when they can win with the CZs and Deagles.
Smoke to go down to the bottom of Banana. Electronic doesn't care about any of the utility. He's going to go straight through the flames. Puts him on a 42, but Flamey, meanwhile, is trying to at least get information over toward A. A single pick here would certainly leave the defense in a bit of a question mark because they have 3 on B, and they might consider rotating Carrigan back sooner than was otherwise intended. Frozen Lovely has that Krieg already. AK as well for Voxic. There's guns worth holding on to in the CT side in terms of not taking too much risk, trying to make sure they have the one-shot headshot potential in the rifles. Carrigan's one of the only players still actively using the A1S as far as I can recall as well.
Oh my goodness, Chris J. He didn't see Electronic bounce up there. Remember, he came through all the flames and managed with the flames down as well. You don't really hear footsteps. He gets himself in the corner, waits for an opportunity there. Chris J had no idea. That's one weapon given away, the M4A4. Electronic had to go down to 42 HP to even get in that position, but it's worked out. They only have flashes to access the B side. Not ideal. I think a contact play off this Krieg would be the most viable approach. One flash in. In we go, breaking through the smoke, but Frozen ready and waiting. He's got the M4 towards CT spawn as well, and he's got that 6 smoke down towards the actual entrance here. They can see from first Orange's legs walking in, they have to go up towards the first Oranges to actually jump on top. You can see them scampering up there. They'll get one more kill. That smoke can be thrown from new boxes, and it's so good for those sort of rounds. You time it well, they can't see you at all, and you see kneecaps running in, you spray them all down.
So that certainly nullifies any threat of losing the guns over on the Mousesports side. NAVI, you're right. Chris J was caught off by that. He thought, okay, we haven't had any action over here. We had deep utility. Surely it's safe to do so, but we get the buy now. Simple's going to go onto the T side at AWP.
Sometimes I think we saw it once in this tournament, especially on maps like Train, you'll see T's randomly throw a Molotov and then move into position. It'll seem like a waste of the utility, but the idea is you're masking footsteps. You can get yourselves into advantageous positions and hopefully surprise your opponents there. And you can see him taking advantage of that, had to run through the River of Flames, but managed to catch Chris J out. Didn't lead to much more than a few kills there. Well held by the CTs. Great smoke usage towards the end. I always like to see that one deployed. And NAVI now will have guns. That wasn't the force buy. That was just the partial buy due to the bomb being planted around before, which was their force. See now what's in store here. Unlikely to see the T-side AWP come out very early, but Simple's gone for it. He is the new designated full-time sniper since the removal of Guardian. Boxer Gas is out as well.
Frozen back behind the bags. He's got to be checked. Nade is so well timed. It took the attention away, and Boomich gets revenge either way, though, because Frozen was still stuck out, and he knows exactly how to clear those angles. Look how deep he's gone, but is he aware there's a player toward Coffin? He's going to check it. Chris gets the angle first. AK-47 brings it back to a 3-on-2. Perfecto still inside of the boilers. Desperate to find a pick. Rops is all they need on A, and they're going to gamble this rotation. Those kills have influenced enough. A minute left on the clock, and they know that there's likely to be activity toward A. So as such, they put the plan in front library. Chris J on his feet quickly, and he still has a chance in this as well, despite going down to 39 HP. 2 kills already. He avoids Simple's AWP and backs off. This gives him time to consider the options.
Oh, they don't know exactly where he is. Smoking off towards the library right now. Simple should be able to nail this shot. Doesn't have to commit to it, but he's fast now. 1 versus 1. You can see Simple frustrated with that.
Yeah.
But still, they win the round. That's all that really matters, but it cost them a lot there. Rops and Chris J almost did enough in the 3 versus 2. They're working off each other, but some nice shots landed by NAVI. They will pick the round up, but still a lot to do going forward. This might be the tactical timeout with the money being low. I assume they recovered the AWP there towards the end. Yes, they did, but you can see how this has really wounded them. Luckily for them, it's a really weak buy on the Mousesports side of things as well. Desert Eagles, MP9s for masses, no helmets really at all. This should be absolutely fine for NAVI, considering they have 3 SMGs. Should be able to find good spacing. They've got full banana control right now. They've got Carrigan and Frozen tucked in towards B. 1 Krieg, 1 AWP. And in terms of the CT setup, at the very top end is a FAMAS for Rops. The reason they buy into this one is they know the money's so low on the T side. If they can win this round, it's pretty much done. They'll be 13-7 up, recover some weapons, and the money will be absolutely wrecked on the T side. Good smoke from Frozen. Bit of a gap in it, perhaps. Yes, indeed. Maybe I'll take that back.
Rops waits, doorway, hold with the lovely windowsill position. Off angle, I don't think Flamey spotted him. I don't think he went far enough.
He just wants to bait out the shots there. We saw it in the previous round as well. Jiggle peaks and CSGO, wide swing, bait out CT shots, and Rops is holding his nerve.
They're checking it.
Yeah,
right.
Get out of there.
You're right. Yeah, Rops was definitely holding his nerve, but they're checking it. You can see the position from the CTs even toward the mid-gap, looking at the sill, and he's right to get away because Flamey would have re-peaked immediately after. Gives them the mid-wall to work with on the NAVI side. Execution toward A potentially available to them. Additional flashes toward the apartments. Frozen's in a great position with a deagle, and no mistake, that close. Headshots are not impossible. He's even picked up a weapon, but he can't switch to it yet. He's got to stay on the pistol, and he makes no mistake with it. In fact, updates to a Krieg instead, but that's what costs him. Of all things, the Krieg versus the MAC-10.
Yeah, remember, no helmets here, so the MAC-10 very powerful to this point. This is a very important kill. Electronic can't connect the dots just yet. Can Flamey. UMP makes his way towards the pit. You can see they're both towards the bomb site now. There's actually 5 seconds remaining, Matt. They've done enough here. The AWP goes down. This is a disaster for NAVI. Up against the pistols, the one for Mass, and you can see the laughter coming through. Carrigan can't believe it. It's Frozen with the Desert Eagle once again, delivering 2 massive kills, running the clock down, and chaos ensues on the A-bomb side there. Great setup, and that's going to be NAVI done for, I would say, Matt. There's no bomb plant there. Loss bonus is on their side, but still it's going to be a very weak buy going forward, and they're just going to have to take an eco. 14-7 looking very likely. They're good with the Desert Eagles, but with only a couple of players of armor, 1 smoke, shouldn't be working out too well for them.
Wow, that was a really good run boost.
Yeah, they do that a lot. A lot of these top snipers will be doing that a lot.
You see teams like get on top of each other's head and set it up, and they fail. Like he just ran, jumped, and kept going.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah, his movement's insane.
Voxic gets across, but no shot. Did have a chance for one toward the T-stairs. Instead, though, it's Frozen that we focus on. Back over toward B. Krieg for him. Pre-scoped angle. Headshot achieved. Boomich goes down again. He loves that corner of the map, and apparently so does his corpse because it lays there once more as Voxic continues to be somewhat aggressive on the AWP. Flamey with the Deagle will be the next in line over toward mid. But they'll slow it down, Navi's side. Down a man already, and again, not a lot to work with. No utility. They want to try and make contact. Deep smoke, that's the last they have left. And Frozen on the ledge. He's not committed to water, which means he cannot be stuck down there, be contained. He can still back off and control this fight. He won't see their feet. He knows what they're up to. That's a good suspicion. The fact that they put that smoke on the ledge meant they wanted to go to Orange's 1, but his anticipation of firing into it actually baits him out, and therefore they're able to fire back and caused a lot of problems. Carrigan down as well. No support because his teammate gone, and the round might be as well. 4 still alive. Don't be misled. Perfecto does have 5 HP, and they've picked up the Krieg. Simple's going to hold it.
Yeah, this is the kill that might decide the rounds here, and Flamey, no problem whatsoever. 1 bullet from the Desert Eagle. Voxic will pull 1 back, but it's Simple with the Krieg. This was a partial buy, remember, from NAVI as well, so they're right back in this now, trying to recover the AWP. Not going to happen. Maybe it will. Chris J, they'll fall back. Their money is pretty much broken on the CD side as well. Expensive investment into towards the grenades and all the rifles that were missing from the previous round. So he'll make his way back towards the pit. Looks like there's a bit of a manhunt going on, but Chris J, you'd expect him to hit that one. Ready for it, but wasn't quite aware of Flamey's close range position. I feel like Chris has to go down here, but still hitting the shots. If he takes all of them down, that would be great. Worth it though. Perfecto won't close things out. Remember, he's not exactly throwing away money. They didn't invest that much into the round, so the fact he gets the orb out of Chris's hands, it guarantees the round going forward. They are not out of this map yet. So, should be very low money and a force buy for Mousesports here. So, Desert Eagles, P50s, 1 MP9. The reason you have to buy when the money's so low because you'd be double eco regardless. And by the time the money builds up, you might as well have given this one a go.
Flamey gets himself a decent position, at least top side of alt mid. No pushes available for the pistol players of Mousesports. And as we mentioned, sometimes in these rounds, CT side, you do that. You want to get the map control. And Apartment's often, for whatever reason, for some reason, goes unnoticed in those situations. So he's not going to allow that to happen. Simple just checks the lineup on the bags to make sure he knows exactly where he is in relation to exposure from Coffins. He gets Kerrigan baited out after taking the shots to Frozen. He's run back site. They know he's back either at Emo or New Box. And they know now there's a CT coming from spawn as well because the nade came through. Frozen will buy as much time as he can, waits for his teammates to get into a more relevant position, and they overlooked it. They knew he was there. They knew he was there. They saw him leave Coffins, and yet he still surprises Electronic. Simple's gone as well. It's a round that might be stolen back, so forget the eco win previously from Navi. This completely makes it level, and the nade, it takes Perfecto down. Bomb still on the ground. Rather, Boomich has it, but can't do anything with it. Frozen, he stayed alive the whole time. How does he stay alive? Simple made contact with him early, and he manages to go undetected for the rest of the round.
Yeah, this is the year of Frozen, man. He really is starting to look like a superstar on the server. We knew he had talent and potential, but it's finally being realized consistently. What an amazing round. You can see the thought process there as well. Stay alive. Wait for mistakes to come through, and he gets that initial headshot. Smoke to buy himself some time. HE towards the well. Absolutely blown out of the water. It will be Navi giving the round up to Desert Eagles, and we'll get into round number 23 here. Mac 10s, an aggressive play from Carrigan. I like this. Playing to win, not holding back. He wants to lock them out now. Two players towards Banana, big spray, and this Perfecto with the Desert Eagle, the in-game leader doing it once again. Can he escape? It's a chicken that will be taken down in the process. 5-on-2 now as Voxic looks to close things out. They're looking for map point here. Just simple, the AWP. What a masterclass from Carrigan. Even takes some poultry down on his way map.
Yeah, he thought it was a head popping out.
It looked like one. I was like, it's got the third.
Did.
It's just a chicken.
It was unreal. I mean, you can see how antsy they are in these situations. Simple might actually come into character from the bottom side of the underpass, but Kerrigan's not actually going to give himself up. Simple will hold the AWP. This is map point again for Mousesports, and they have 7 to work with. NAVI chose this, and they're further. They're nowhere compared to Dust 2, and you're right. Tactical is the difference so far.
I think so. They don't seem as drilled as Mousesports. They make more mistakes. There's more vulnerabilities. And Mousesports are very good at capitalizing upon them. Simple, it looks like he's given this a go. 5 versus 1. Makes his way in towards the T-Apps. Bomb on his back. Chances in winning this are about 2% at this stage. 30 seconds. Comes out towards Boiler. And he's got 3 players to deal with.
Oh, hit him. It's not going to matter much. I think this round's pretty obviously done, but it's still pretty special to watch Simple hit those shots when he gets the chance.
Yeah. For sure. So then, Carrigan, like I said, playing to win, to close things out, not playing KGCS. He gets stuck in with the M4 all the way down towards Banana, sabotages any efforts they had towards the B site, execution, control in general. Smoker T-Steps meant they couldn't even swing out and take him down. Beautiful stuff. Excellent work. Looking very good for the 2-0 here. Pick of Dust 2 was Mousesports. Managed to win 16-14. This is now NAVI's option of Inferno. Not really a bogey pick and looking very comfortable. Even winning multiple rounds now with Desert Eagles.
Kerrigan vocalizing what he expects they'll do, or perhaps what they want to do against it. We saw Regine doing the same. Blade's been pretty quiet. We're back into the regular time, so the coaches go back to mute. They cannot talk during regular activity. They can only talk pregame, halftime, and during, I suppose, 8 timeouts, but 4 that each team can call respectively. So,
well, this is it, man. Mac 10s, Deagles, and bare bones utility. This is where it should end. Carrigan, what a fantastic half he's had.
Overstayed his welcome slightly, though, so Boomich actually burns him alive, and there was a nade on top of that as well. Brings it back to a reasonable 4-on-4. Chris, if he'd been caught out inside a boiler, another gun picked up, I could see NAVI actually getting away with this round. As it is, they have to do a lot more work. Smoke to cover off Frozen's position. I don't think he'll go lightly. He's been so effective on top of the coffin. In fact, exposes his whole body to stay above the Molotov, and no mistake on it. He finds the first kill. Now he'll be efficient. Now he'll fall off. He probably actually could have got away with the second kill in that situation, but why risk it?
Yeah, absolutely. You got a 4-on-2 now. Bomb's not planted. No one has to overcommit. As soon as the bomb goes down, that's when you swarm, because it takes 3.5 seconds to get that bomb planted right. And that means one player's removed from the situation. It looks like we're all done here. 4-on-1. Simple again. Just going to hope he can find some flashy shots here. Is there anything available?
Yeah, same situation, but even less to work with. Well done for Mousesports to steal away Inferno. And I said that was must win. We've got a very tantalizing map pool for Mousesports to close this out. They only need 1 more. Best of 5. I expected it. Again, I said 3-0 was possible. I expected them to be close. This was Mousesports dominating.
I really enjoyed that. Frozen especially. Like sometimes on the big stage you'll see him drop off somewhat, but he was carrying the boys there. And Carrigan as well. Speaking of
that's what I was going to say.
He is nuts, dude. Like that Deagle round he got towards B, the amount of impact he's having, and he's so selfless as well. He knows he's not going to be the key clutch or the star player of this team, but if they can send him in first, cause a ruckus with the great smokes that are being deployed in the flashbangs as well, he's consistently finding a couple of kills and opening things up for his teammates to close those rounds out.
It was pretty impressive that we talked about the individual skill. NAVI certainly has that on paper, but that game they actually got outskilled. They got out-dueled, they got out-positioned, they got outplayed. Boomich, I have to say, he's got to address that situation at B, and you can see him clearly having a long conversation at the end with Flamey. The rest of the team had already got up and walked away, so he knows it, they know it, there's got to be adjustments made. He's the leader, he'll find a way, but it's too late for this series. They'll have to move.
hopefully they can bounce back. We want to see this one go a little bit deeper. That was a little bit underwhelming, but you've got to respect how good Mousesports look there individually, not just tactically as well. They're starting to look like they're peaking into the tournament just at the right time as well.
Yeah.
We'll take a break and be back with the analyst desk and train very shortly indeed. We hope to see you there.
Charge up your game with excitement. Highest odds on the market. Coverage of all live and pre-match events. Place your bets with Solid Bookmaker and win with your favorite teams. Take what's rightfully yours with GG Bet.
Well, there you have it, the conclusion of the second map, and we are well underway here for the grand finals of the GG.bet Ice Challenge in London, right here at the Excel Expo Hall. Things have already popped off here, and well, for the second map, one thing that didn't necessarily pop off would have had to have been that of NAVI. They do take the big L right there. They do find themselves in a really awkward position of being down 2 maps in this best-of-5 series. That is not a good start, and there's a lot of reasons that we could talk about this. And of course, when I say we, I'm talking about Jacob and Halvor. We're gonna run you through the scenario here. That is, when B control doesn't work, simple, figure it out, man. Just go out there and try to figure it out.
Yeah, and the problem is he couldn't really figure it out on his own. He's going up against, obviously, a very well-versed team in Mousesports. He recognized when they have their enemies up against the wall, right? So we see they start off the game, again, focusing heavily on that B-bomb site. Flamey and Boomich didn't really seem to be on the same page for a lot of it. That leads to Simple being rotated over. Sometimes we see them starting off the rounds with 3 players there. Sometimes Perfecto was over there. Not really seeming to have like a set idea of who's needing to be in Banana at any given time. And obviously when Mousesports figure this out, and they are aware of the fact that, well, okay, they're stacking over towards the B-bomb site. This is a prime time for us to really just harass a weakened A side. And as well as Electronic has been playing, as well as you played again this game, he can't do it by himself. And I also think, again, we didn't get to see Simple asserting himself enough into the game. We had one round, the first round that Navi picked up with a fantastic 4K with the AWP.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he kind of just was hoping that Mousesports would come to him more so than him bringing the game to Mousesports. And I think Simple is at his best when he's dictating the pace.
And obviously he was trying to do that, Jacob, he was trying to get himself in those fights. He was trying to catch Mousesports off guard. But it just seemed like Mousesports were never on the other side of the AWP.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, now Mousesports were just the better team throughout. I think as you said, Simple had that 4-kill with the AWP. Thought to yourself, all right, that's going to kickstart Navi, and they got a few rounds, followed up after that one. But apart from that, it just fell flat. Navi is simply not. If you take a broader look at this, Navi is not ready for this right now. Navi is not a team that has had enough practice with Perfecto. Navi is not a team that has implemented their own, style of play again, with Simple being the AWP player and changing up the roles within the team. They're just not ready to take on the second best team in the world, that is Mousesports right now. I think this was a masterclass for Mousesports. This game wasn't even necessarily, any close. There was at no point where I thought to myself, all right, Navi, they have a fighting chance of getting back into this, even after the first half where Simple did, a few occasions of some great plays. Electronic as well. They got off to 6 rounds, but still, they had to win 10 T rounds in order to win the map against a team like Mousesports on Inferno, and at that point you knew that's over.
Someone might say even like, yikes, even at that point, right?
Sure.
You're pretty much back against the wall. Yeah, big oops. Maybe some Omega lols in the chat. Who really knows? The truth is, though, when we look at this and we look at Navi, unfortunately, yes, they do take the L here. But how about we look at the brighter side? Instead of, let's not push Navi too far down. We still have one map, potentially more. Let's talk about what Mousesports is doing right. Why is everything firing on all cylinders or working?
I would say that right now, sorry to cut you off, I would say that right now every single player is having impact. We saw Frozen with the Deagle, to close out the game. 2 anti-ecos in a row, killing 5 people in total with the Deagle. Huge impact. We see Kerrigan entry-fracking sites. He did it on the first map as well, and on this one as well. He went in towards the A-bomb site, got a double entry with a Deagle, and all of a sudden Mousesports win the round. Every single player right now within the Mousesports camps is having impact. Every single player is playing the role to perfection. And when you have a team that is so well-versed and well-rounded in terms of finding impact and finding roles that fits the players, then it's super, super tough to do anything about it. They're starting more and more to remind me of Astralis. Obviously not to the same extent, not to the same level, but the way that they're using the players in the different roles, where everyone is feeling comfortable, everyone is chiming in whenever needed to be, that's so strong to have a core of players that can do that. And Mousesports right now, they're showcasing that at a very high level.
Yeah, I think it's just to kind of latch onto what he was saying as well, the fact that everyone's having impact, that everybody's just following through on what they're meant to do. We saw so many basically disjointed, thoughtless ideas from Navi on their T side. When you talk about the ecos or the Deagle rounds that Mousesports are winning on their T side, for example, it's Kerrigan leading the charge. Obviously, he's not going to get a double kill with a Deagle every single time, but even if he doesn't, there's follow-up with 2 or 3 players right behind him who know what they're going to do. We saw so many times on the T side whenever Navi wanted to make a slow play, a contact play over towards Banana, it's literally Boomich, and then a solid 10 seconds after next Navi player is showing up. Obviously, that's not going to work.
It's not ideal.
No, and I mean, I'm not sure if that's Boomich's idea, where it's like, guys, I'm going to sort out B, or if that's other people not paying attention or whatever it is, but that's not going to work out unless Boomich just transcends into the greatest player of all time and literally opens up the site alone every single time. And that's not feasible. That's not going to happen. So I don't understand what the thought process is at Navi's place. I would love to, A, understand Russian, to hear the comms.
That would be a good starting point, I suppose.
Absolutely. Yeah. But again, that doesn't bode well. It doesn't doesn't matter what map you're going into next. That doesn't really cut it on any T side of any map in this map pool.
Well, we can cut that map away. Yeah. You want to talk about going to the next map? We could potentially do that. We do have Train on the cards. Now, like I said before, this is where Navi is in trouble. Now they find themselves down 2 maps. They lose 1 more, and it's over here at the GG Bet Ice Challenge. But more importantly, now we go into what is a Mousesports pick, and that certainly is not going to bode well here for Navi.
Let's set the scene realistically here, right? Yeah. For Navi's sake right now, it's of course it's about winning the game. They want to win this final, and losing 3-1 or 3-2 doesn't really matter for them. But if I'm Navi right now, I would love to just make this competitive. I would love to get off with a great feeling. If you're going to lose it 16-14, 16-13, make it competitive, make it seem like you had a chance to win it. Play a game of Counter-Strike where you can go home, you can fix certain mistakes, and then follow up on a great performance. That wasn't the case on Inferno, right? If you end up losing in Train now 16-5 or 16-8 or something along those lines, there's not a lot of positives to take away from this final or this tournament in a whole for Navi. So I would love for them to make it competitive. Obviously, looking at the big picture, Navi needs to win 3 maps in a row. Seems a bit unrealistic at this point, but again, if you got to find win conditions, you got to talk about Simple. It's Train now, it's AWP, it's the map that he loves to play, both with the Deagle and also with everything else. So there's a great chance that they can do well, but Simple needs to step it up big time here, and then the rest of the team needs to follow up as well. Can't be only Simple, can't be only Electronic. We need to see Perfecto, Flamey for that matter, and Boomich find some footing as well.
We can't really rest on the idea that Navi wins rounds based off of 1vx situations, which does tend to happen. We do see Simple do these things from time to time, but Halvor, if you're looking at it, where do they kind of mesh together on train? What could be their saving grace here?
Again, I think they do have a pretty decent approach as to how to utilize electronic on this map specifically. Whether it's him actually just being the sole lurk or sole actually aggressor towards Ivy, or whether they actually set up rounds for him where he's allowed to move off out into yard, smoking off 5 train and green train and so on, flashing him out, just to kind of leave him, stirring outside in the yard for a little bit and just seeing what kind of rotations come out, what kind of information he can pick up on that. NAVI are usually pretty decent at actually doing something good off of it, which is, I guess, something that we can't necessarily say about their T-sides on a lot of other maps. So that's something that can grab with them. Again, you always have the potential of individuals popping it off, and I think they've been surprisingly proficient with low econ buys on train as well. Whether it's been full-on pistol force buys or where you actually have that hero AK or hero Krieg nowadays coming out, they usually tend to get a lot more out of it than a whole lot of other teams. So it's not necessarily great win conditions or a fantastic thing to build up of if you want to hope for a NAVI victory, but that's kind of just the situation they find themselves in. That you can't realistically put them in a better position than just that.
Yeah, and it's such a weird place, especially when we start talking about some of these players over in Mousesports coming online too. We talk about things that could go wrong for NAVI, and that's going to be one of them. It has to be. You look at a player like Woxic, who hasn't even really gotten the series yet, but if he does, you might as well just lights out right there.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem for NAVI right now, and that's the biggest problem I have right now, visualizing that NAVI can get back into this game. When you think about it, cool as I am, right now, Simple is playing somewhat decent. Electronic is having another series overall where he's actually playing super, super well. Still, that's not enough for NAVI to make this game competitive. There's too much, too much disparity between Electronic and Simple and the rest of the team right now. We need to see Flamey, be able to perform at the same level as Frozen is doing right now for Mousesports. Same goes on for Perfecto. He needs to perform at the same level that Robs is doing right now for Mousesports. They need to match up individually. We talk about NAVI that they have to rely on the individuals to show up to win the game, but right now they're getting outclassed both as a team and as individuals. So there's not a lot of stuff that is going the way of NAVI right now, despite Simple having a great game, despite Electronic maybe dropping 30 bombs. I still think Mousesports are favorites to win, because right now Boomich, Flamey, and Perfecto is not up there with the rest of the team of Mousesports. So not enough skill, not enough composure as a team, and cruel as I am, I'm having a very hard time seeing how NAVI is going to fight their way back into this one.
Now, you say you're cool. Now, that would be also a talking point.
Is that cruel?
Oh, cruel, okay. I thought you were saying, yeah, as cool as I am, this is how, okay. I understand now, I got it. You talk about stacking these players up against one another. I look at this and I also think, well, the IGLs are also having an impact, right? Kerrigan is this player within Mousesports. He's always able to get in front of the fights. And I don't see that being any different here, whereas if you comparison to Boomich, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, I mean, go with Inferno as a bit of an example. Obviously, it's a one-off instance potentially, but in that game, I think Kerrigan was involved in 10 opening duels. He won 6 out of them. So just very involved, and again, Mousesports are playing better off of the fact that he's leading in than NAVI are on their T side. Boomich was 2 for 7. At the last point I checked before we came here, and that's obviously a pretty big discrepancy, and that's incredibly hard to play 4v5s in any sort of situation. So they're not doing themselves any favor in that sense. They're not also making it harder for Boomich to really just call a good game. I think any in-game leader can kind of recognize the situation of having to try to lead a team, from basically the post-game screen. It's hard to do when you're dead. You're not necessarily picking up on all the information you want, and you don't really get to have the same impact on the game.
And Jacob, I don't know if if that's approval, disapproval. What do you think?
I think that right now, Kerrigan is everything Boomich would love to be as an in-game leader, right?
Nice way of putting it.
I think
that's eloquent as hell. I don't know if you've said anything that nice this week.
Kind of did, but Kerrigan is everything he should strive to be as well. Boomich is an unproven in-game leader, a leader that may not have found his way to take charge over this team. Kerrigan is this legendary in-game leader who had Face under his control. He was playing with the old Astralis. He had so many great players playing under him, and he's found a way to balance team play with individual style, right? He did it in Face, which was a complete different team that he's doing it with Mousesports right now. So if I'm Boomich right now, regardless of winning or losing right here, I'm going to go tap on Kerrigan's shoulder after this game and ask him for some advice, because I think if Boomich could be that in-game leader that Kerrigan is turned out to be, then NAVI have a bright future. NAVI have all the pieces they want in order to be a great team. For me, it's just too soon for NAVI right now to contest a team like Mousesports, who are right now looking like the second best team in the world. And, we talked about them having the rank as the second best team in the world, but they're actually playing like one right now, and that deserves a lot of credit as well.
And unfortunately, the picture we've also have to paint here is that stride that you're talking about. You want them to come out and get competitive here on what could very well be the last map. What is a score line? I mean, you say 16-14. We could look at it any way you want to. They could win the first half 12-3 and still lose, and that's going to be detrimental, you know?
Yeah.
But at what point you say, okay, we can hold our heads high because of our placing, our performance here?
I think it's going to be hard to put a number on it. Let's say like anything better than a 16-12, and it's because of what you mentioned, right? Like let's say you win the first half 12-3, and then you basically don't get a single round in the second half.
Drop ball.
Exactly. That's not something you want to talk too loudly about. I think for Navi, the goal has to be basically it has to be the eye test. You have to see if they're actually playing together, if they're playing off of each other more so than anything else. One of the things we saw with Godson, for instance, when they were playing Navi in the group stages was, sure, the end result on Nuke in their first map was 16-6. You know, a pretty big loss. But you could look at Godson and be like, well, they actually did a lot of things correctly. They had the right rotations. They had good reads. They did this and this and this correctly. It's just a matter of fact that they didn't win out their duels and they didn't actually have the individual skill to necessarily go toe-to-toe with Navi. So for Navi, they need to think about it in a similar fashion. Are we actually setting ourselves in a position to trade?
Sure.
Are we actually, executing our strategy solidly? If we can do that for whether it's 25, 30 rounds, what have you, that kind of has to be the benchmark for them.
What do you got, Jacob?
One thing the viewer at home could pay attention to is the fact
That's
that
you
Navi...
out there.
That's you out there. That is the fact that Navi have lost so many anti-ecos. They've lost so many rounds going up against Deagles and stuff like that. So yeah, as you said, super tough to put a concrete number on. You can't say 16-14, that's a success. But if Navi would lose a 16-14 game that goes back and forth with a lot of buy rounds, a lot of clutches, a lot of team play scenarios coming down to it, then sure, they can be okay with that. But if they lose 16-14 because they're throwing away 3 or 4 anti-egos, again, which they did on Inferno and the first map as well, then that's where you start to think Navi is a horrible team in terms of team play right now. We saw it yesterday as well against Gartsen, I believe, in Overpass. The first 6 or 7 rounds, it was back and forth. They lost 3 anti-egos in a row in that sense, right? You can't do that if you're supposed to be a top team. So that's a thing that the viewer at home can look out for. If Navi can eliminate those mistakes and be, assertive and dominant in the preferable situations they get themselves in terms of economy and weaponry, then sure, Navi is on the right way, but they got to stop doing that. Inferno, that was too much.
Yeah, that's a pretty trivial point. We're going to have to, I guess, did I hear that right? Or am I hearing things in my headset? Something about potentially going to a break? Maybe I'm mishearing.
I think you're right about that.
Okay.
Could be.
It could very well be the case. Either way, guys, do we see the series end here? We can end on this note. Do we see the series end right here on this last map of Train? Do we see Mousesports basically just coming in here, coming to the expo hall, walking away with the trophy as if today was just a breeze in the park?
Yes. This is going to end 3-0. This is Mousesports solidifying themselves as the best team at this tournament, and they're going to do it in style as well. I think this is going to be a confident Mousesports victory.
Unfortunately for Navi, they put the ball in the hands of Mousesports right here. It has to be them dropping the ball. It has to be them, going down a level or two, and then Navi can maybe fight their way back into it and get some confidence. But if Mousesports is playing like they were before, Inferno in the first map, then this is going to be it.
This could very well be it. We do see Navi there in what could be the final huddle of the tournament. They need to bounce back now. If you're just joining us, they are down 2 maps in this best-of-5 series, which ultimately means this could be the end of the road. Coming up is Train. We're going to be jumping to that sooner rather than later, so make sure you go ahead and grab yourself some popcorn, ice cream, whatever the hell else you need, and we'll be right back after this break with the 3rd map of this series.
It's a noose around my neck, hunting vultures as they fly. Every spring a flower blossoms in my hand, and every winter time it dies. I've become the hunted. I've become the hunted. I've become the hunted. I've become the hunted.
We hustle things straight along into the next map, and it's going to be Mousesports with a chance to wrap up the final in 3 straight. That's pretty remarkable considering the circumstances. A comeback on the first map, domination, I'm gonna call it that, 16-8.
Absolutely.
When you consider that you're up against Navi, domination on the second map, and now a chance on Train, their map choice, to close it.
One slight caveat I will throw in there is the 4 pistols, right? They've won every single pistol so far, but they're still not like they're not for free. You still have to earn those. You still have to deploy strategy. You still have to overwhelm your opponent, which they've done a very good job at.
Yeah, it is true though. I mean, if you look at Dust, if either of those pistols went the way of Navi, perhaps you have a very different story right now.
Sure.
Perhaps we're in a 1-1 situation. Less so, I think, on Inferno. I don't think that would have been enough. They certainly didn't have enough map control. This guy, we praised him for having the best event that he's probably ever had.
Yes.
And I think that stands. But last map was not really the best performance from him. So Train's going to have to be a very different story. And you also have to look. I know simple stats. He's still above a 1.0 rating. He's still simple. But where has he gone? Because there are times I've been saying it doesn't matter. He's got electronic. He's got Boomich there now. But at the same time, we're not seeing that impact when it is required.
We've had one massive highlight from him in this grand final so far. We can't expect him to have 4Ks every other round. He's done what he can at this point, but no, he's not playing that god tier simple right now. He's still having a decent tournament, but we haven't seen the flashiness really break through just yet.
And the impact. And again, if you go to the numbers, I'm sure, as I say, he's above 1.0. He's still in a tremendous position as a player in terms of the ratings. But I'm willing to gamble that his fall off is still noticeable. In other words, he might have been 1.3, 1.4 more frequently last year. Now he's only 1.1, 1.0, 1.2. The point is he's dropped off about 0.2, which is, if that was anyone at a 1.0 level and they dropped to a 0.8, you'd be like, get him off the team. So yes, he's still a very good player, but it is a noticeable difference.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, though, you can't rely on that. You can't just say, well, Simple didn't turn out, that's why the team didn't win. That can't be.
Well, I'm not going to switch, because it used to be when he did, they would win. So we can't instantly put that on. That would be almost being too cruel considering what he's achieved.
But still, absolutely can bring this one back. It looks daunting right now, but they just got to have to win 3 maps themselves. Moving on to Train, it's a map they're well versed in, but Mousesports just look like, in terms of the team chemistry, when they're stepping up, it really is working out for them. And one thing I'll say about Navi's overall game plan, they're losing the Deagles just way too much. Like, it seems like they overcommit individually. They need to calculate their approach a little bit more to slow things down. They're way too keen to go into the duels when they know they're up against pistols, and it falls apart very quickly. Don't take anything away from Mousesports. They have worked hard on their Deagle rounds and how to really punish mistakes, but still, Navi don't help themselves out sometimes, giving away rifles to individuals at times as well. As Chris J, he had a fantastic end to 2019. Hasn't been the showstopper he was at the Pro League Finals. It was still a good tournament for him. Everyone's looked pretty solid. For me, Carrigan has been the hero of the day. He won't get in the highlight reel for his frags, but in terms of the impact he has and the bravery he's displaying, actually getting to the bomb sites and being so selfless, going down first if he has to, but normally taking down 2 kills with him, has just been great to watch. It's what you want from the in-game leader. He spots the hole, he'll go through it first, and at that point manages to crack the round open and not actually be relying on him to actually win the clutches. His stars can do that and close things out.
I would have thought with the fast switch over from the desk to us, we were ready to go already, but apparently not. We don't have headsets on electronic yet. Still getting the massage, so no need for the rush, Henry, after all.
Apparently not, but always good to be on your toes, I suppose, as we'll be waiting for the next map to begin. Boomich will have to come up with something quite special here. Just to remind you, we do have a knife for every single map, which will be starting momentarily. We'll see what can be done as CT start is going to be required here, just to kind of get some confidence going on the Navi side. A pistol would do quite nicely. I don't think it would help them out too much in Inferno, to be honest with you. That one seemed like it was a little bit too far gone regardless, as we'll see the boys now preparing. Perfecto, let's talk about him for a little bit. Have you been impressed by him as a player? We're not expecting him to turn up and just carry the team, but he's fitting him quite nicely.
Yeah, you certainly have. You were bigging him up this morning on the desk, and you've been looking positively in his direction. I'm not convinced.
Sure.
I saw a few indications of hesitation when he's playing an anchor position at B on Mirage, for example, or Dust 2. The MP9 one, okay, that's 50-50. That can slip away, but I think at that point he needed to get that kill, and it might have been a different Dust 2 as a result, not to put the entire game on him. It's not like every other round is his fault. But then you also look at, on Mirage, holding at the jail, 2 players already, one at doorway, one at window from checker, and smoke's down in front of him. All he really needs to do is hold the smoke to make sure no one can push through. Instead, he watches behind it, which is already covered by the other 2. So I think he's still struggling to communicate and figure out how to play off his teammates. I'm not going to rule him out. I'm not going to say, oh, he's not good enough. He's done already. There's no chance he has in this team. He definitely does. He possesses the clutch potential that you've pointed out, but I think there's going to be more time before we see him in a really stable position in this roster. I'd like him to be a little more assertive if he's going to be in those anchor positions.
Yeah, I agree with you. I know what you mean. I guess I don't know his LAN history, but I'd imagine this is the biggest tournament, or maybe even the first time he's been up on the big stage. I've noticed that too. You can see like he can bail himself out with the individual mechanics he has, but yeah, sometimes we'll find himself looking a little bit apprehensive and maybe out of his depth. But this is going to take a little bit of time. You can't expect him to turn up and play against one of the hottest teams in the world right now, Mousesports, who are just making final after final. And he actually wins about the knife round there. We said that would be an important one. This one's coming through. So those on the CT side here. So NAVI, a bit of luck going into this third and potentially final map. If you are just joining us, it's best of 5, 2-0 in favor of Mousesports so far, which, to be honest, is how I felt it was going to go down. I said 3-1 at the start of the day, 3-0. That would be great. What a fantastic team this is turning out to be. Need to see the most out of Simple. If ever he was going to shine with an AWP map, Train would be the playground to do it on.
Yeah, you would expect that. It's got lots of close, tight choke points that he can manipulate his way through and be flashy as he likes as we get ready for what could be, and I surprised myself in saying so already, but what could be our final map of the best of 5. Should Mousesports get off to a good start and win another pistol? Yet to be determined, as they will start on the T side yet again. So at least the knife round's going Navi's way for whatever that's worth. Rop's already inside A main.
Molotov deployed towards the upper ramp just so they can get full control. It's going to be Carrigan just suggesting they're heading towards inside, but Perfecto, that's almost a perfect smoke. They have to push through that, no choice, and he's going to get the first headshot. That might dissuade them now. After such a convincing kill there, they're going to have to wait towards the Ivy position. Carrigan, I don't think he gets the headshot this time. Looks good for a pistol. In favor of Navi, yet to pick one up as we enter the third map here.
Robs backs away, P250. Kerrigan's smokes were all for naught. That was a ruse, but it was already spotted, as you mentioned, by Perfecto at Ivy, so they knew this was going to come to A. And it's come back to a 3-on-3. Umich gets himself on the board with 2, finds Frozen as well toward Olaf, and that means bomb down. He'll close on the last, finding Voxic off to a great start. And Train yesterday, he was in incredible form in the 8-0 start against Godsent.
Well, there it is. The first pistol finally comes through. You saw Carrigan suggesting they were going towards inner, and that's a smart approach because we've said it a few times this tournament. I've been saying it for years. Most teams will be favoring towards that B bomb side, the T pistol. You guarantee the plant. A Molotov and a couple of flashbangs. That's pretty convincing. You see that at the start of the round. They go towards Ivy, but Perfecto spots them, drops that important smoke, slows it right down, and it falls apart. But here comes the force by Voxic. Rattles off a shot towards Connector. Takes a little bit of damage from the grenades here. And these other rounds, the Navi have been giving up a lot against the Deagles, and he's well, his enthusiasm somewhat there. Flamey deep down the Ivy. They lose the first 2 picks again, but starting to stabilize now as Boomich with the MP9 doing solid work towards that popped up position. Looks like things are under control here. Got a bit dicey at one point, but we're going to have Frozen after the 3-on-1 with just 19 points of health.
Attempt from Frozen to get the headshot, not successful. And that gives away his position as well. They're going to sneak in behind. Not quite. They're going to hold over toward the E-box instead. 2-man position. No real chance he's going to suspect they would be there. Why would they have 2 in this position in the open? But at the same time, they weren't. Okay, they are. It looked for a second like Electronic was actually gambling and looking away. That would have been a problem considering, like I say, they heard that first shot. So Navi off to a much better start. Finally an early lead.
Should be the 3-0 locked in at this point. But whenever I say that, Matt, something strange happens. Something unexpected will go down. And we'll see whether they have anything at all. Should just be Glocks. We have a couple of Deagles there. That's for Carrigan and Robs. We saw Carrigan did with the Desert Eagle on Inferno. Helped himself to a round with 2 beautiful headshots. A couple of MP9s here. Good chance to farm some cash. I like this from Simple as well. He knows they've got pretty much nothing. At least no helmets. He can keep the USP and get the AWP out early going into that next round. But you do want the MP9s to be fragging hard here. Electronic knows it as well. $600 per kill. There's the first. $1,200 gathered so far for Navi.
Boomich trying to find better positioning. No one presenting opportunity as it was yesterday. Look at the flank, though. His teammate, Electronic, that's a lot of noise. I think he's heard. Bomb's down. Christian knows he's there and makes no mistake with the Deagle. It would have been such a scalp to find the bomb in that position and get away with it, but they're still going to be aggressive and relentless onto Chris. And Perfecto knows that he's gone around the bathrooms. Again, a bit hesitant. He has an M4. He's up against nothing. I know he wants to keep the gun, But at that point, Chris is already tagged and on low HP. Just finish it off.
Get it done. Well, there we go. Round confirmed. Lots of money in the bank. Mousesports will bring their first gun round out now. They've got an eclectic array of strategies here. Fast-paced executions, fakes for sure. Mousesports will have a fake, and Boomich taking, is that a shot in the back of the head?
Yep, taking out the windows, and for absolutely no reason, he's clipped his teammate on the head.
A USB or something? I don't know what's happened there. Good incendiary, at least to do damage. Carrigan might burn to a crisp here. 28, and down he goes.
I don't understand the reason. I guess he wants to hold Olaf so they can't push up in return, but there's no smoke on top of that, and he steps into it with it spreading to the corner.
He's been doing this the last few months. He is the one that goes towards main entrance. He normally extinguishes the Molotov and gets himself towards Olaf.
Right.
A little bit apprehensive this time, though. I think he was maybe flashed and wasn't sure whether the flames were going to spread. He'd already taken a lot of damage. He survived. It was the HE that took him down. Not as clean as he'd like, and this is starting to fall apart now. That pop dog has been a big talking point in this tournament. A lot of teams happy to fly up there on the CT side. Has left Navi in a 5-on-2 lead here in round number 4. Much better scenes. Frozen and Voxic at this point, all they can really do is either save the weapons and hold on for a minute. Let's see if they can cause financial damage. Nice work from Voxic there, 10 HP, but still, he brings one back. Bomb down, that's towards T-Spawn.
Voxic does cross over, but low HP, he goes back. Simple was certainly ready for the second shot. Don't give that man more opportunities than one. Even then, that's often too many. Frozen. He'll sneak back around. 32 seconds left, but 1 on 4. Don't think this is really a time issue at this point. Might want to consider that Krieg. Bomb plant would be decent for his team as well. Give them the max bonus plus the 800. It's not going to go that far. Neither of those things are possible. Round done. We look at Perfecto. Pretty serious looking guy.
Well, he's getting the job done. Counter-Strike is a serious business, and Navi desperately need to hold on to these leads. They cannot let themselves be tempted into feeling too comfortable. We saw it against Godsen, had that 8-0 start, similar scenes to this, and looked fantastic. Everything was going great. Got a little overzealous and things started to fall apart. They need to maintain their focus here. This shot from Simple allows one player to get towards Olaf, and Electronic making up for it here. He'll go through the smoke. Nice work, but Carrigan's ready with the CZ, flaming for a couple towards Ivy. Working safe once again here, 4 versus 2. Clean sheet so far for Navi. Robson, Voxic waiting for any more mistakes. No one has to push at this point. The round should be locked in. Let them commit towards the bomb sites, and speaking of the bomb, they have that on the back of Voxic right now. Rob's down towards Pop Dog. Fantastic Deagle user, but I'm not sure he'll be able to find much here. There won't be many opportunities as the orb's given to Boomich, considering his low HP. No one has to explore. Just keep one passive player towards inside. That's Perfecto. It would be the best port of call here for Mousesports if they want to get the bomb down. They didn't even have to trade out a kill. There's a chance he'll only get one, then he can just get that bomb planted, and that will be enough. So maybe one down towards lower ramp, take the aggro, jump out of the bomb towards upper. They have no flashes, and you can see Perfecto on the ladder right now. He won't be shooting from this position, but you can see lower and upper, and he can get a nice early call when they commit. So he's down spotted one, he'll react, throw the incendiary, try and deny the plant. I still think it will go down here. And considering this situation, Matt, that's enough. That's an extra $800 per player.
Oh my.
Maybe a little bit more here as Robs finds an opening.
Absolutely does. Goes forward, gets the F4. He's got a lineup and a chance on a Simple. Damage is being done. This Deagle at the headshot position, and it's Flamey again. You're right, it could be a lot more than the 800. Simple tag down. They were all within one bullet. That was winnable.
It certainly was. If that kill comes in towards Connector, the low HP on the remaining 2 as well, could have been something to be said about that. So there it is. A little bit more than they bargained for, managing to get the bomb planted at least. That's all they needed, considering that was a partial investment of the Desert Eagles. They get a very healthy buy now going forward. Voxic will bring out the AWP. Krieg's out in full force. You see a lot of those on train. Brochet opting for the AK-47 instead. So you can see, kept relatively modest, a couple of players with Simple now, even with the AWP, still has $10,000. Flavey not far behind, and Simple might be going for an aggressive pick here. They're going to hold towards the lower ramp itself. He has got a bit of action coming in that direction, but it's going to be Voxic. Does he fire off a shot? Doesn't really want to let them know that he's got the orb towards Ivy here. Good flash good grenade. A lot of damage towards Ivy now. Voxy boosted out, trying to see above the smoke. I don't think he'll get a challenge.
Kerrigan is in a perfect position should Boomich overextend, and he's actually staring it down. I say that because if the gun barrel was even an inch further forward, Kerrigan gets the advantage in that fight. Instead, though, Boomich, having cleared the angle and was satisfied in doing so, turned his attention the other direction. It now sits to the advantage of NAVI. Again, 8-0 was the scoreline. Rops, don't flirt with Boomich in that position. 8-0 was the scoreline in the start they had against Godsent yesterday, and Godsent only had 4 kills in that time, and yet it went to 16-13. So watch for Navi to be a lot more disciplined today. They're going to have to be. Interestingly enough, if Navi do win
went up the ladder
this,
again. Did he
yes,
do
he did. Yeah, no real need of it, but sure.
I respect it because you don't expect anyone to do that. Like that, it's a cool move, but that might cost them this round. But it's still looking pretty good with 25 seconds. Only a couple of smokes left, and Flamey very confident in his approach with that CT AK-47 electronic. He'll reposition towards Pop Dog.
Shots out from the AK. Flamey has Rops. Chris and Rops, though, they each found a kill in that time. So Simple on top of the site. He's actually out of the deagle. That's not characteristic of him at all, but Voxic actually clips the shot, and Chris J gets in position to get the bomb down. They know Perfecto's got to be rotating around because he hasn't been playing on that side of the map too often. So Krieg for him, and he's up the ladder and away. This is the round gone. You're right. Starts with Boomich getting a little aggressive.
Did we say it was similar scenes to yesterday's? You got the opening pick,
Yeah.
and you've flown up the ladder and brought it back to a 4-on-4. Like I said, I respect it. Like, I'm not even mad about that, but it has cost them the round. As 3 players will survive here, Mousesports will dig themselves out of a grave. It's going to be the first on the board before things got out of hand. They'll save the AWP and 2 rifles as well. As Boomich had to work hard for that first kill as well, and that's fallen apart. Rops will take him down. And you're right, Simple going for the Desert Eagle there. Maybe trying to go for a flashier play, but maybe got the call they were low perhaps. But I felt like his position with the AWP, time remaining, 1 kill, jump back into cover, that would have been it. Even the way they approached with 2 players swinging, which is very smart by them, the AWP would have been good for 1, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep an eye on Boomich as well. I mean, yesterday he was in that position a lot, and it was working so successfully. I don't blame him for it.
Of
but
course,
if he does get shut down a bunch today, we saw, for example, one particular round that they flashed over and were able to catch him in transition. What's his change? Because he certainly didn't or was reluctant to change on Inferno, and again, Dust 2 is the complete opposite, so I think it's map dependent. We'll see what else he has up his sleeve. We know as well that they've played the E-Box and had support, but that means Electronic has to come out to the front of the site, and then there's less going on toward Ivy. So there's always a compromise defensively. It's not like the maps are designed so it's easy to defend them. You have to have a plan, but it certainly is a key point of their defense to have him in that ladder room, so.
There we go. Smoke towards Sandwich, flashes out. While we change the pace here, this is what we talked about. Carrigan always gets himself towards Olaf. A grenade behind him, and he'll actually be battling towards Ivy here. We said Carrigan's been good at opening picks today. Unfortunately, Electronic 1 step ahead of him. Spray down towards the hell position will yield the first frag. Rops might be exploring his options towards in and out. Simple.
I almost wonder if Kerrigan was better off not to take that fight. Yes, he was spotted, but just run, just get the position at hell, because then he forces them to have to move just by being there. Rops takes out, or rather, excuse me, Simple takes out Rops. So 2 already in the advantage of Navi. It went 8-1 yesterday after being 8-0, and then it went 9-1, and then the comeback was on. So see how Mousesports fares in similar waters. Voxic still in the op. He's going to try and let Frozen go to work first, who's eager to bait out the player at the back tracks. It's not going to happen. Electronic's going to rotate away. And in fact, they know now, based on Boomich's communication, that there's a lot more going on toward Pop Dog also, so they can't give up anything at the back, or otherwise they'll have problems at the front. Simple rotating around, catches off Frozen. Becomes a much easier scenario now, and it's just Chris. Bomb in his hand, though. He can plant in this. He started that before the Molotov. In fact, Molotov's not going to reach him, and he might chase down, at least get 1. Good start, aggressive, finds out Flamey, not done there, sees the play on the tracks, he's actually got Simple down. We know this guy can ace. We saw it in New York, he's got it into a 1-on-2, and he's actually sliding away. He's got another shot on Boomich. Is this guy up for the play of the decade already in 2020? He nearly got it in 2018. As Chris sneaks away, Electronic is found. He's baited him out. He's got the time in his favor. What an ace clutch this would be. He's got the bomb off the situation. And he's got Electronic down. Put it in for play of the year already. What a clutch from Chris.
Unbelievable scenes, Matt. Chris J in a 1-on-5 saves the day. It was unlosable for NAVI. I don't even know how he gets the first kill, let alone 4 more. They run at him one by one. He outpositions them, he outfires them. Look at him go. Perfecto gives the call, and then it just falls apart like a house of cards here. That was the shot that really got him into the round. As Simple goes down, and then boom, it's detected. Electronic crumbles. And that is one for the history books. Amazing.
Chris is just like a team player. He's just become this stable mate. Look how calm he looks right now. Like, come on.
Yep.
That's okay. There's the laugh. That's a play players like everyone that plays Counter-Strike dreams of.
Insane.
And he's become this stable player, this consistent team player, and then out of nowhere, same in New York with the AWP, and now with the AK here, he pulls off plays that you wouldn't see from Simple and Electronic. I mean, what is that?
How do you recover from that one? It was going so well.
Perfecto thought the Molotov was on him, by the way, which is why he was so aggressive. I think that gave Chris a lot of space.
In a 5-on-1, one dude going down, that's okay. But the fact that it spirals like that, they weren't expecting it, sure. But we talked about this. You can't rest in your laurels at this level of Counter-Strike. You can't take your eye off the prize for more than half a second. It can all fall out of control very quickly. Chris J, you're right. He's done that a few times in his career. I think that might be the best one yet. Oh, he did it. He's doing it at Pro League as well. Like, he bailed them out in the grand final 3 or 4 times.
Honestly, he might be one of the best clutch players we have, and it's completely undetected. So underrated in those situations. Unreal play. And Mouse desperately needed that. 2 in a row, so NAVI gets silenced for now. They still have enough money left over, residual from their 5-round spree. They're able to force into this around Simple's AWP. That might light a fire for Simple. He's going to have to get on the board. He's going to have to start really making a difference.
A 5-on-1 clutch and a full buy round for Chris J. It could be the catalyst.
And it was a desperate plan. It was 5-on-1 post plan.
Yeah, we just like,
it wasn't even like he
money.
opened space
Got
and then
cash.
thought, I can do that. He actually just fully annihilated them.
Here we go. This is the round that breaks the back of NAVI as well. They might not even want to go for this one considering the weaponry. More importantly because they have the AWP, and then there's SMGs and FAMAS. I think they give this one up. And we have got Frozen chomping at the bit. We've talked about this before throughout this tournament, holding towards Ivy on the T side. You know you've got a guaranteed round here. You're going to get some frags. Where do they go, though? Trying to hold on to the little they have. FAMAS, MP9, and more importantly, the Simple AWP. It's had one amazing moment today. Not quite on level of Chris J, though. That was unspeakable.
It's the speed of that play as well. I mean, you think of the AWP shot. It was, I think, what, he took 6 shots, or was it all 5? Either way, you could clip it within like a 20-second window.
Yeah.
He did the same thing here. We've seen 1v5s before, but usually they're long, they're drawn out. Both of his, I'm going to say his 2 best plays of his career have been aces in the span of no time at all. It's how incredible when he gets in those situations. And he plays it so well. He plays every angle perfectly there.
He couldn't have done a better job. And you could see the pressure for Electronic when he's left in that sort of scenario as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a GG bet providing the odds. You can see them quite shifting. Even though they're behind right now, that round certainly had a knock-on effect, I think. It's just unbelievable. You can see Electronic's like, God, how have you left me in this scenario now? I have no information. I don't know where he is. He's just hitting every single shot. Oh, so good. That's what Counter-Strike's all about, those sort of moments. And here we go, Frozen, using this momentum. He will be carrying it forward. It's going to be Boomage Electronic removed. Simple still alive with the AWP. 6 kills to his name so far. He's going to need to increase that total. Around number 9 here, they're going to stand a chance. Bomb goes down. Not planted, it's been dropped on the floor, and Voxic offers himself up towards the backtrack. So at least they know where the AWP is now. 35 seconds remaining. And Chris J with a long flank here. There is a bit of activity towards T-Spawn. Perfecto coming in from inside. You can see him aware of that. And just waiting for exit picks here. Oh, they were looking so good. 5-0 up. 5-4.
I'm just speechless.
Yeah.
The fact that Chris J, again, Happy's Deagle Ace, absolutely a deserved winner. There's many that were, but nearly had the play of the decade. When we rolled the year over, and now he's got one that I think absolutely will be in consideration in 10 years' time. That was just insane. And it's Chris. I mean, he's not a human highlight machine. He's not known for that.
Just every now and then, when they need it, when they're desperate, he reaches into the darkness and pulls out some magic. It's gonna shift the morale. Difficult to recover from this one. Such a gut punch. Money wrecked. Ecos, 4 spies, hasn't worked out. And now back to the gun rounds. Quick flashes outside to suggest they might be doing more of the same, sending Carrigan out towards Olaf. This time he's actually not. So they're just trying to force out utility. At the start of the round, you can see it's working. Lots of HE's dumped there. They're worried about that prospect. Taking control of Pop Dog, though. Boomage. I don't think we'll see him flying up the ladder anytime soon. Another run boost there. Mousesports very good at these. Nailing it again. It's the left-hand side. The CT's on.
Thought he might get spotted there. It looked like there was going to be a full peek. He did actually clip Electronic. He's trying to bait that shot as well. He knows that Voxic likes to do that, and yet Voxic is still able to do a significant amount of damage. He is certainly an accurate man. One-round game. Perfecto holding the gap behind the train. Good little angle.
Yeah.
Headshot position, very tough to damage backwards because it's easy to put your crosser on the head and you could still clip one of those 2 train beams. It's that accurate. It's that small of a gap.
So an outside fake here. 2 players smoking off towards the dark side. I'm going to be going towards Sunny, seeing whether they can break through as the opponents come through. You can see Rops showing his usual tendencies towards upper ramp. So they're going to reposition now, get the bomb down towards bottom. This kill is everything. Carrigan nails it again. Convincing play towards inside. Good rotation. It's a, oh, hello. Simple does take one down. 2-on-2. Tense environment right now.
You can still see Perfecto and his teammates are both trying. Oh, they didn't get it down in time.
They did not. It looked like they were just...
I thought they had it. I was going to talk over that because we had a second to get ready for the post plant. But yeah, the timing gone. They actually lose the round. They give it away.
Oh, I don't think... Well, we weren't keeping track of it. I guess they weren't either. It felt like it was all calm, plant the bomb, wait to see what happens.
Even when I saw the plant come in, I thought he had time. He must have just whiffed it by half a second. That's actually significant because NAVI keep the lead as a result of it. I was about to say, you can sell that Perfecto and his teammates haven't figured out how to play off of each other perfectly. He wanted to hold that lower angle. We talked about it. Very nice angle, but Flamey has to hold up. Or Flamey got 1 kill and backed off. Perfecto still held. The communication wasn't quite there between the 2 of them, and he was left completely in the open with no defense.
Wow. We do find ourselves with a boost towards a pallet. Decent HE to chip away at the initial players. A lot more than that, though, being presented as Chris J and Carrigan once again. Crack open the outside bomb side. Simple's in a lot of trouble here. Up on the bomb side, fully flashed. Down he goes. Might have been a bit of a disastrous finish in the previous round. Carrigan will at least get the information as to where Perfecto's position. So yes, they gave up the previous round. They win this, though. Everything's back in a good position. There it is. Mousesports, after Chris J's heroics, have found themselves back in the driving seat here in the 3rd and potentially final map of our best of 5 grand final. I would say they're the favorites coming into this one, judging by what they were doing towards the end of 2019, but you've got to respect Chris J. Like a map, it looked like, okay, this is getting out of control now. NAVI have showed us they're very good on the CT side of train. This is taking the wind out of their sails, and then some. So, confident rounds. Carrigan and Chris J towards the outside bomb side just seem to be a formidable tag team duo. As Rob said at the end, a trained specialist. And that's what I wanted to break that last round down. It looked like they were going to be faking towards inner. So they dropped a couple of smokes there. Robs goes out by himself and you think, okay, it's just his usual thing. That's what he likes to do. But he had a teammate behind him. That was the selling point at that stage. That's when all the rotations come through. You see more than Robs towards upper ramp. That's when you know. They take the bomb down towards Pop Dog. They ran out of time, sure, towards the end. But it was a real nice, calculated approach. As we see round 12 come through, and Eco. NAVI can win these, but it's not looking good. USPs, CZs, no armor, and a rush inside. Oh, maybe a couple of kills there. Electronic, does he get away? Oh, a perfecto. That's not bad. All right, 5 players committing towards that Brown Hall position, and they've gone down Let's see Mousesports give up many rounds like this, but this isn't looking good at all. Frozen taking under 51. Massive advantage for NAVI here.
Kerrigan back out again. He knows to take this angle. He knows to fight Boomic. Expected a reaction sooner and didn't want to oversit the mark when he put the shots in. Didn't get the kill right away. Had to look elsewhere. Needs to push up. Boomic is not going to repeat that angle. He's not going to slide out, but they're going to keep going, keep marching. He's trying to bait both directions at this point. Burn the candle at both ends. Every shot toward Boomic, he knows he's going to bait a reaction from Sandwich. Every shot towards Sandwich, he's waiting for Boomic. But it's Simple that slides above instead. 3 versus 1. He can't cover them all. Boomic can. Simple down and out and finishing the round. It's NAVI back into contention at 7-4. So again, that time becomes a factor because now money's going to be very limiting for Mousesports.
Now that's an interesting scenario. Inside push to the CZ. You know you've gone down to an eco. Mousesports the one to blink this time. NAVI back on track. Entering the round 13 of train. Simple on the AWP. Full buy, of course, for Mousesports still. Got 3 Kriegs, but this will be the round that breaks them. Deep incendiary towards the Olof position to deny access for Kerrigan. Taking damage though, Simple. 68 HP, this time playing towards Ivy, backing up Electronic. Kerrigan knows he is vulnerable in this position. Gets an A down towards Ivy, doesn't quite do any damage, and a decent smoke as well. 2 players probing that side of the map. This looks good for NAVI though. Plenty of presence towards that side. 4 players there. Perfecto playing close range at the lower ramp. Still has all his utility. Can drop an incendiary, buy time for rotation, and the smoke as well.
Kerrigan. It's a very tight position to be in, and Simple and Boomic both putting damage into him. Make no mistake in taking him down. Electronic was sitting and sliding up Olaf the whole time as a result of that kill. We could see him underneath of Kerrigan, and he went undetected as a result. Frozen does at least catch off Flamey, trying to take back the site, so this will give them some ground to work with outside. I say that though, but look where the bomb is. It's in the clutches of both Simple and Electronic, who swarm toward the A main entrance. Frozen, however, I'm surprised he's gotten this much ground. They don't even look. Oh man, Electronic. That is good timing.
There was a chance there. An opening had been found, but Electronic checks it just before it becomes an issue. Round should be tied up at this point, but Robs and Chris J will give it their best, and we know what Chris J is capable of. Brings it back to a more realistic scenario. Smoke down and another frag. 2-on-2 here. Boomic overwhelmed potentially. Could have gone to the 1-on-1. Definitely not. He holds strong. The Krieg closes things out here. Starting to look a bit more comfortable now. Recovering from the disastrous 5-on-1. That's going to keep them up tonight, I think, especially if this is the map where it goes to 3-0. Slowing down Mousesports. Might have to take the eco for the final round here. And indeed they will. Desert Eagles, a little bit of Kevlar there. Round 14 coming up. And with NAVI, first map, they've actually won a pistol as well. Managed to get a 5-0 conversion from it. Should have been 6-0, but here we are.
Yeah, God had other ideas as well to give them a second one, man, man. I was a little bit slow, Henry. I'm a bit rusty. The Wolf of Wall Street became the Lion in London.
That would have been good.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Either way, the play will stand on its own forever. That is a remarkable fact. That was just incredible. But they're still not out of the woods just yet. 8-5, they've got to secure a few more rounds in this half. You mentioned it is a CT-sided map still, but it depends on the matchup. And this is Mouse's pick, so what does that yield for their CT side? You know Navi's going to wake up into this series at some point. They're not going to let it go easily. 3-0 is... It doesn't matter if it's Astralis or Liquid. 3-0 is not a score you'd expect to see against them.
Definitely not. Again, Chris J alive. This was the eco, meaning they haven't invested any of their funds on the right-hand side of your screens. We have got some newer viewers out in the audience, so just bear with us. Just gotta let them know what we're up to.
I'm pretty new as well, so.
Yeah, you know.
Oh, Simple. That's fast. Good timing. Knew he had to check lower. Didn't have eyes on it, and he makes no mistake on Chris. 9 now for NAVI and Simple. It's not flashy, but he's starting to be very consistent on that AWP.
That's all he has to be at this point. Guarantee these last couple of rounds. Keep them clean. Considered one of the greatest Counter-Strike players to ever touch the game. Needs to step up here if they're going to avoid this 3-0 deficit. There's Boomic, newly appointed in-game leader. Pressure's on now, looking for double digits. Up against 4 Kriegs and AK. They've tried to go inside before and were met by the CZ rushing in. Perfecto hearing footsteps will be dropping an early incendiary. Smoke down as well. And looks likely to be an inside execution map. Just off the bat, knowing it's normally just an inside anchor. Smokes towards connector. Flash out, a few Molotovs in. Voxic to open things up from what we can see so far. Simple as that though.
And he finds the same shot onto Voxic twice on the entry. Flash to support Perfecto. He looks away. Good communication between the two. And you can see why Perfecto plays the Taz angle, but a double peek in return. And Simple's gone as well. That's both defenders at B. They've rotated with plenty of time for themselves, but this far limited. Smoke's down on the gaps as well. They're pushed off the bomb quite considerably. 6th round would be a remarkable feat for Mousesports and exactly what they need to try and claw this back in the second half. Frozen has Boomich. That leaves us still in a 2-on-2, however, because a kill came in beforehand. Electronic Shadow deceives him.
I love this from Frozen. So well played. Robs to close things out as well. A very convincing finish there from Mousesports. The defaults weren't working out for them. Like, it felt like Navi have got a real solid CT side. Sure, some horrible moments. The 5-on-1 will go down in everyone's mind, I think, for the next decade. And that was their entry into the game. They managed to scrape together 6 rounds. It's actually a pretty convincing half against Navi, especially losing the pistol as well. Bear that in mind. They had a 5-0 deficit to kick things off. But Navi looking solid. Like, they're bringing it together. They held themselves together as a team. Didn't crumble after that disastrous affair against Chris J. It happens once in a blue moon. And a very important pistol here. If Mousesports can find this in their CT side, Navi will be under pressure. Here are the odds brought to you by GG.bet. Mousesports still the favorites, but not by much. Inside rush.
They're 4-1 on pistols so
big
far.
nade.
That nade is absolutely massive, but Simple's around it and has Kerrigan down. Chris, I think, took damage from his teammate behind him as well on the stairs, so a bit of a trip over each other. Didn't need that at this point in time because he'd already taken 1 bullet from the front of the site. Simple spotted, but they still have to give him attention. They do, certainly. No attention deficit from Frozen as he goes back to spawn. Perfecto dancing on either side of upper. Just trying to make sure there's no flank. He's got to be so careful at this point. He's actually revealed himself. Goes to the lower ramp. Voxic has him. Shot back. Boomich at least with a chance. They both have 1 bullet to death. And he goes, oh, it deceives him. He went to the burst. He thought they were low. He thought he could get it. But that is why most players will never touch the burst Glock.
If he had the single fire on there, he's going to get the kill. 1 bullet in any general direction of that player is going to take him down. The burst fire can be a little bit erratic. It goes everywhere. It has a wide spread. And unless you're putting it down their throat, it really cannot work out for you sometimes. That was actually winnable as well. With the low time on the bomb, they both essentially had 1 HP as well as the burst fire that eludes him there. And that's going to be a big round for Mousesports. Certainly going to be forced by him, though. The fact it comes down to the wire there with the bomb planted, that's why we talk about inside being so prevalent on the T-side pistols. They can buy up, but they haven't invested everything. Perfecto's dropped a Krieg. They've gone for Deagle armor around it. So still with around $1,000 per player. They've put all the responsibility on Simple. See what he can do here. This was the team, or at least the organization, that really made this a thing. On maps like Train as well, when they would lose the pistol, they just go, let's just get 1 Krieg with Simple. Let's see what this guy can do. Can he find his own opening? If we get the plant, that will pay off our debts. And sometimes he can just win the whole round by himself.
Frozen very patient, almost frozen in place with the MP9 as he sits stoic as bullets fly down from above. Gives him a bit of information. They haven't made a ton of noise, so he won't be able to count the feet. Heading over toward B. B, by the way, is very passively held right now by Chris. Scout for him. Top red. Certainly a capable scout player as well. He is a super well-rounded player. Zipix and Chris J. I'd have either of them in my team.
Flamey though. That's a nice shot with the Desert Eagle. A chance here, but that's the rifle being removed. Need to get that bomb planted. Perfecto taking care of that. Yes, to recover it actually from the lower ramp. Need to get a quick plant here to stand a chance. Boom it. Nice shot, but essentially now a 3 versus 1, and it's not going to work out for them. That wasn't the force buy, bear in mind. They just had 1 rifle, a few deagles. They can still buy up into this round. I don't think they'll have the AWP. Mousesports looking to tie things up at 9-9 here. See if that's possible. Chance to catch their breath. I'd say this would be an opportune moment to take a tactical timeout. Chips it down, but we get straight into the action. You can see Voxic with a UMP. Famas out as well. A little bit of residual cash, not a boatload of it. And Perfecto, the one with the Desert Eagle. He drops the Krieg before. I like this. You can see Voxic listening out for sound cues, denies the rush, and it's going to be flashed around the corner here. Doesn't really have the weapon to make that work. Maybe a little bit too wide on the swing there.
I wouldn't argue against that. Electronic does need to be aware that there's more possibility. Good lineup. Actually had the crosshair already placed, aimed with his strafe keys. Certainly a tactic that speeds things up if you can get the lineup accurately done. Kerrigan's going to try and redeem things by going aggressive toward aim, but aim way off. And Perfecto gets it with a deagle. So Mouse, we're in a bit of a bonus situation, but now they've got a choice to make. Frozen does still possess, at this time, at least a Krieg, which he'd want to carry as long as he can on the CT side. So what is the call going to be? Does he try and just stay out of the action, keep his head down, concede this round to NAVI and go 10-8 with that gun still in their hands? Or do they try and get back into it? I suppose Chris has inspired them to say anything is possible. Perfecto tagged. Simple, though. Props was so blind. Still gets more, and they know where Frozen is. Now he might get away. Yeah, well, that's one thing to suggest. Frozen with a second kill. Bomb's not planted.
Oh,
he's going to go, but he's got to reload. He's left in the open. Simple was there, and thankfully, because if that came down to an isolated situation, that Krieg could have punished.
Oh, they know how close that was. You got to be careful. You can slow things down. There's no rush. No one has to find the kill. I think that's what Blade's saying right now. It's just like, boys, really need to reel it in. You're finding amazing opening picks. You're such talented players, but you're almost playing yourself to points. Let's see what can be done now. A chance for everyone to catch their breath. Do they want to buy into this round? Mousesports being tested to the best of their ability here, looking for a 3-0, but NAVI, I'd say this is one of their better maps, maybe their best map considering what we saw against Godsend. Slight caveat to that, they had the 8-0 start, got kind of, what was the phrase we're using the other day? The
positive tilt?
Positive tilt coming in kind of really affected them, but I feel like their CT start on train is super solid. They just need to keep the mental fortitude there and not get carried away. So full eco, not really much to report. Mousesports going to stack inside. There's a nice smoke there thrown from T-Spawn that lands in the connector. That's really powerful. So versatile, you can do so much with it, especially if you're descending in a Mach 10. Here we go then. This is going to be Boomich, taking some vision away from up. Just trying to keep these players, if they are stacked towards inside, it will hold them there.
Kerrigan backs off. Electronic will try and force the issue with Frozen, but he's actually got it too far to the right. Either way, he gets out toward Hell, his teammate already there. Thinking swing old bomb, they're gonna need to, never mind. No, they aren't. Boomich has other plans, he'll just kill Kerrigan when he walks to him instead. Boost up ticket. Electronic's gonna see this if his teammates on top of the bomb don't first, and they've already pushed Voxic off the situation. It'll be 11 now for NAVI. Still 4 alive. I know it seems crazy to call it that early, but there's no chance and no point in giving away guns at this stage in the round either. And Mach 10 for Simple can certainly farm frags. The others not really holding on to anything. It's not the big deal. In fact, zero investment at all, but why give more away than you need to?
Exactly that. Need to present a disciplined game plan at this point. NAVI will be in the lead. This was the full eco though, bear in mind. Mousesports don't gain or lose anything for surviving on the CT side post-explosion. If there's any exit kills, that'd be great. So that blast might actually give them the AK. They're going to wait till the last second to try and grab it. Oh, a couple of kills here. So expensive towards the end, and an AK was found. So that was actually very well done. They don't win the round. They don't get close to winning the round, but they leave with, I think, a single AK. They got a couple of kills. Take some money out of the pockets of NAVI there. It's still a frustrating way to finish things off. Let's get into the next one. This is where we'll see if NAVI can start to resurrect this series. We need to win 2 more maps after this one. Flashbang. Bounced off towards lower ramp. Carrigan now, aggressive of course, going for a double, he fancies it. He scampers away though. Lovely work from Carrigan, using that MAC-10 saber to save an AK and a MAC-10. You'd normally say, oh, they won't even use the MAC-10 in this gun round, but Carrigan realizes there was an opportunity there, and he actually upgrades to a Krieg as well. 5 on 4, great start, money in the bank, and gun in hand.
Chris aware that the flames are going above his head. He's going to just keep it low. I'm not sure he's aware that one player's already gone by. Boomich nearly spotted him. He suspects that he's up there. Okay, did he? I don't know. When he goes up this ramp with the smoke still down, he actually gray screens. That is, oh, I was going to say almost the most luck Chris has had this game, and that's saying something considering a 1v5. That was all skill. But it was just enough to be spotted and taken down in return, and despite knowing that they're so far forward, Rops gets simple back. Still on a 3-on-3. Boomich is on the high side. How's he just dancing around them at this point in time?
The bomb's main entrance, though, so yes, it's very good. He'll get another kill for sure. Rops goes down, and 30 seconds remaining towards Pop Dog. And Flamey, oh, has he been spotted?
Yeah, he was. Voxic just barely. He was running, but he was just far enough to be not audible. If he was audible, there's no way he even gets a chance at that peak. The gun's already turned onto him, you're right. That's almost unfortunate. The fake actually cost them because it put the bomb in the line of fire, and Boomich has to go back one-on-one. Voxic to hold, knows he's coming from Pop Dog. 12 seconds, no mistake on the shots, and it's 11-9.
Big plays from Boomich, like respect for actually getting towards inside, sneaking through all the way to connector. Nice one shot, just dancing around the bomb side. They had no idea what's going on, but his teammates weren't really synergizing with him so well. The bomb goes down, he's left in a 2 versus 1. There's a great job of baiting out the sound cues to take down Frozen, but ultimately it's Voxy there. He had the bomb, and he doesn't miss many shots of that AWP, especially when he knows where you're coming from. Even if he missed it, he probably still wins around, considering there was like 10 seconds remaining. So there we go, big pickup. It all started for Carrigan. MAC-10 push towards main entrance. He can make any gun work, it seems. Looks to be a tactical timeout, which it will be. Here we go then. Boomich with 21 frags, Simple with 20, Electronic 13, Perfecto 6, which could be a little bit misleading considering he's the inside player. On the CT side, you don't get a ton of frags, but you are expected to clutch in that role.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still an obligation.
We'll see what can be done with this force buy, a very important one.
Double op setup as well. Chris is going to be the one on it.
Well, this has to be a set-piece execution at this stage. When you've got this sort of buy, you need to do what we saw in the last round from Mousesports. You need like a full inside execution. Get the MAC-10s in first. They're the ones pushing right down and giving you space while your rifles set up, get the bomb planted, and they hopefully win the round out. This setup, a bit of a classic. You have the all watching towards upper, M4 watching the lower ramp. It's pretty safe. Like it's an unorthodox one, but it works very effectively. Difficult to rotate, but we'll see if this is where Chris J will find the first pick.
The op potential this team has with Carrigan as well. I mean, the double op is just so prevalent. And Chris, remember the Wolf of Wall Street? It wasn't even the op he bought. He picked that up off of a dead teammate to make that play.
Flamey spotted him.
Flamey did spot him. He knows he's tagged, though, so he actually goes almost a bit like a moth to a flame in that situation. Carrigan will get Boomich back. The ground is in favor. Oh, I was going to say that. The bomb down, though. I was going to say in favor of the T's because look how far forward Electronic is. He still makes it work. They'll recover the bomb. Are they aware of the fast flank potential? Frozen starting to head toward the ladder. Bomb will be conceded. And they planted safe side of the train, so that tells me they might be aware of the fact that Frozen is trying to do so. Voxic's gone. They're actually going to save. Force buy works.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's Electronic that has to take matters into his own hands. We talked about getting down there, stopping the transitioning CTs from spawn and, more importantly, connector. He had a lovely little sequence with the AK, one of the few rifles they had. And it is going to be Navi making this round work. Electronic hunting towards the end. He's going to find Frozen almost certainly here. You can see he's aware of the prospect of upper, but he's going to go down any second now. There it is. Electronic in position, will survive the blast as well. Voxic saves an AWP, but money is shattered on the CT side. A few fist bumps coming through now, starting to feel like they could take this map. Mousesports starting to shrink. Has to be the eco here, really. They've got an AWP, and they're going for the force buy. See if they can give Na'Vi a taste of their own medicine. So Deagles, CZ, Voxic, he actually thrives in these sort of high-pressure situations. He seems to really step up when he has to. Let's see what he can be done. Boomich out quickly with the MAC-10. It's gathering information here. He can go through smokes. He can be a nuisance.
Kerrigan trying to fight aggressively. Boomich, though, was already out behind, surprising him with the MP9 as he turned around and realized he had nowhere to hide from the attack. Simple still patiently waiting for an opportunity. Voxic, a single op. And as they continue to take the yard around him, he becomes less and less safe. He's spotted now as well. It's not like he can just sit in the corner and wait it out. Hit perfecto, but needs to get away. He's not done fighting. Give him credits, but Simple's had enough of that.
He silences the AWP of Voxic and presumably confirms the round. Desert Eagle is all that remains. It's 13-9 here. Still the CD side of train, but this was a full investment map. They have to eco next round. 39 down, going to be 14 very quickly.
Oops. But the Deagle starts to work away just to stay alive. Exit kill and a gun would be something to work with, but Na'Vi in 13-9 look like they might finally get a map in this series.
Yeah, it's looking incredibly likely at this stage. Lots of money. Just broken them down to a full eco in the next round. Touching distance of taking their first map. You can see in the top right of your screens will be Nuke next. Mirage if required. This is looking like a bit of a lock-in for Na'Vi now. Mouse will just have nothing in this next round. Have to take the full eco. Deagle for Rops. See Voxic still in single digits. It's surprising.
Yeah, that is.
He saw a few missed shots in the previous round, but that was him with just the
perfecto, just the note only on 6.
Yeah. So a tactical timeout. I would assume it's called by Mousesports to see whether they can do anything with this at all. 10 scenes here. Na'Vi desperately need the map. Do not want to crash out 3-0. But it's looking very good for them at the moment. Not too much chatter going on, so it could be a little bit of a technical issue here. We'll see what's happening. We're back into the action. So like I said, pretty much full eco. Rops will get Deagle armor, but that's about it. 3 USPs and a P2000 for Voxic. He's got enough for the AWP next round. It'll have to be a perfect game at this point for Mousesports to avoid giving this one up. Nice spawn from Perfecto, gets him his 7th kill.
Slides out, he's gonna add to that as well, finds Voxic with a flash.
Nice.
He's onto it now, it seems that's always the way we call someone out and then they arrive. 3 kills, yes, they're pretty straightforward eco kills, but when you're sitting on only 6, you'll take what you can get. That'll put him up and equal with Voxic on the other side. 2 rounds to go.
So, I dare say they would take another tactical pause. You can see Raging being very articulate over there, so I feel like that's happened. He wants to discuss their CD setup, what's happening, what's going wrong. The problem is now, a team like Na'Vi, who do enjoy a looser style, if they get good spawns and the buffer they have and the amount of cash they currently have in the reserves, I feel like they can just close this one out with some individual greatness here. Shouldn't take anything too tactical. Very close to finding a couple of rounds. Electronics looking sharp. It's 14-9, but a gun round for Mousesports after giving up 3 rounds in a row. Let's see what happens here. Remember, Mousesports did win the pistol in the second half and the second round follow-up. Those rounds 3 and 4 where it started to go wrong for them. Haven't really recovered since. Chris J just on a Desert Eagle. It was enough on Inferno on the CT side to win a round.
Oh, Voxic, good start. That's why it's surprising that his kill totals are so low, because when we do go to him, it seems like he's snapping and nailing a shot.
Yeah.
Just about every time. He gets Electronic down very early in the round. That's what Mousesports needed. Maybe they needed more of it. Maybe that is the weak link right now, the AWP. Chris J, Deagle. He's going to get Flamey down. Romps will add to that. Boomich falls as well, so Fantastic start to the round. Frozen is very tempted to go up the green ladder at Pop Dog. But upstairs is a problem. Simple would be waiting with the Deagle, staring him down. And Perfecto is not far off with an AK either.
1 minute on the clock. And we had a 5-on-1 before. This is one step better. We're going to see Simple joined by Perfecto. They still have a bit of utility here. Every kill they can get will be valuable. You can see the money fully invested on the CT side. They need to keep everyone alive. They started off with a Chris J. Deagle. He now found the AK. They've got a smoke for a low ramp. Might as well give it a little go here. You've got so much money. If they end up getting 2-3 kills on a plant, that's worth it. Simple, though, has to get past Frozen. Not the most ideal weapon to do so, but of course he just makes that work.
He was ready. He knew what he wanted to do. Pre-aimed, pre-set.
It's dunked on him. And the flashbang comes over. This is where things could unravel for Mousesports. There's a good chance they can win this.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting that, though. Chris to be up close. Rops gets the other kill in the meantime, and we're into the double digits, at least on the Mousesports side.
Well held. After that Simple shot, you could feel he may be onto something there. But
that's what gets him started, right?
Yeah,
he gets
exactly.
one magical kill, and all of a sudden he just goes off. It's certainly getting tense on the Mousesports side. They don't have a ton of pressure against them. Again, I said it was must-win on Inferno. Well, it turns out NAVI weren't done there. Mouse at least have the luxury of 2 maps in hand. But things start to change in best of 5s. You get into map 3, map 4. It's a battle of attrition. You start to get into...
Fatigue comes in.
Exactly. Fatigue, keeping your mind sharp, keeping ahead of the game, negating mistakes. And oftentimes the early momentum can haunt you because Navi's building into this slowly.
So this looks to be technical, considering Raging has the headset off here.
Yeah, I would agree. So does Kerrigan, for that matter.
Well, Navi's still in a fantastic position. Although Mousesports, with a successful round previously, Volkswagen starting to show some form with that AWP as well. Never too late to arrive. If he starts carrying through these next few rounds, it could be enough. They can still deny even overtime and close down regulation on the CT side of Train, even though Navi have looked very good in the last few rounds. Money's back on their favor as we just work out this final issue. Boomich and Flamey at the end. Serious business these days, Counter-Strike. Even with a microphone up your nose.
Dreamy Simple. Certainly not the same confidence, I'm sure, in his mind now that he told me this morning. Their aggressive style would play into him. Well, so far their aggressive style has them 2 maps.
Yeah, it kind of has, hasn't it? 2-0 down. But like we said, best of 5. If they pick up Train, like, of course, they can. That will give them a second win. They'll be the ones flying high going to that next map, which will be Nuke. Still could be the 3rd and final. A couple of technical issues here today in the grand final. Want to make sure everything's absolutely perfect, of course. No real reports as to what's happening, but it's normally a trivial sound issue. You can see they're still in spawn. Headsets starting to come back on now. And
Regine's
maybe some fun with the eyebrows.
Yeah, Regine's still loving playing with the camera.
Yeah.
But his headset's still off, so is Kerrigan. So I think this is going to be a little bit longer. We'll have to see if we can get an upgrade. An update. Well, maybe an upgrade too, Henry. Get some business class for once.
For once, yeah.
But
nice.
We'll get an update on exactly what the issue is. I don't see a lot of okay, headsets are going back in. I don't see a lot of activity, but apparently it's flamey and it's fixed, so we are starting any second. Apparently it was a headset issue, so fist bumps in, we should be back to the action. NAVI trying to close out their first map in the best of 5. All they need is 2 rounds to do so, but Don't rule Mousesports out of this series at any point, as we've seen. Not only on Dust 2, but in Chris, epitomizing that in a single round. Double op setup again. It's going to be Chris and Voxic that have it, and Voxic's going to go aggressive toward Ivy.
I actually like that call a lot. I feel like that could be the savior here. A Chris J AWP on train is always very exciting. He spotted the barrel there, Voxic as well, but Carrigan gets the first frag. He is an excellent main player, but there is one towards Olof already, Electronic.
Yesterday, this was huge. He got in here yesterday, and it really hurt Godsent in the second half. They were not aware. He walked around and got 3 kills.
That's right.
Because they had no idea he was in that position. So Simple's already covering off the right side for him. He could do the same. Voxic has stopped watching Ivy.
Carrigan, though, his position suggests he might want to check it, but now Electronic making his move. Oh, I think
Voxic knows.
Oh, yeah, okay, he does.
There's no action at Ivy, so he kept his eyes that direction.
One more player towards Ivy. That's going to be Boomage, though. So you can see him looking at him, and then the shot's fired. He'll survive. Didn't even take any damage. That's okay. Still a 5-on-3. Carrigan to open things up, and Simple trying to find a gap in the smoke. See if you can see a shadow. Any telltale signs would do at this point. Double digits for Mouse. Currently in the 5-on-3 with 50 seconds remaining. Navi have one smoke, a couple of flashes. And not many options, I'm afraid. Simple would have to get them an opening. Boomage and Flamey will focus their efforts. Maybe a totem drop here towards Pop Dog, but an incendiary.
Yeah, well, don't go now.
Yeah, we'll buy you some time, and he can smoke on top of that just after as well. Definitely smoke him.
Oh, he's late. That is such a great predictive play by Flamey.
Love it.
And NAVI, because they expected this smoke. There's only going to be a slight amount of time in which they would take little damage and get down there before the smoke, but it doesn't matter. Mousesports get back into position. They catch them getting out, and they still get away with the round.
Yeah, I love that. It was a great idea from both sides there. Frozen, he's just trying to run the clock down, make sure that he denies access. He did it perfectly, but maybe he wanted to throw the smoke a second before. Navi read it well, as you said. Drop into the flames, but just as they're about to be extinguished, and at that point they get the opening kill, but it didn't mean a massive amount. Here are the odds provided by GG.bet on our third map. Includes overtime. We're going to have favorites of Navi still, considering the scoreline, but their money now starting to be depleted. Voxic looking for the quick play towards Ivy. Most players will jump up on the dumpster. Boomage looking to set up his teammate for a peek. Flashbang comes in, and it goes behind Carrigan, but still overwhelmed. Same story maybe for Voxic. He has to try and get out. Opening pick now.
Yeah, Voxic thought he could actually beat that flash, but he might have been better off sitting back because then he could have repeated it and perhaps saved or at least traded Carrigan. Navi still looking for the elusive map points. Gone away from them 2 rounds in a row. Perfecto. Inside of the A main hall. No one pushing against it yet. Voxic's going to give up Catwalk, or excuse me, Ivy for now and get a little bit closer toward A main. Electronic will work in that position as he leaves the smoke down. So Electronic this time, not lurking from Sandwich, might still be able to do a similar thing with no defense in front of him. And Frozen has to be so careful. That smoke's late, but a flash was not. You can see the hands covering their faces. They had limited vision, and Frozen somehow finds 3 when he ultimately shouldn't have. Simple gets it back, but it's Simple and Electronic to clutch against Rops and Chris J. And Rops in an unlikely position. Now, as soon as that glass breaks in front of him, it reveals the position, reveals the angle, and they'll look there. So he needs to have a clean first kill.
It has felt like that smoke was never going to bloom towards main entrance. Frozen just about survives long enough as the bomb will be planted in a safe spot. It's going to bait out Rops here. Has to nail that first kill. Simple left the AWP. We know he hits these shots, nails it. He's going to get another one, surely. He now knows exactly where Rops is. As he bides his time, he has got the orb. It's Chris J that goes down. HP not so much of a factor here, but he knows he's already hit him here. Simple, he's been quiet so far. Can he get the map point? He certainly can. That's what it's all about. Round 15 on the board for Navi.
And Simple finally getting a clutch. He's been close on many occasions, ultimately when he shouldn't have been, but that one just enough to give them the 15th. The repeat, you're right, he knew he hit him, but he still had to close it. Didn't go to the pistol, and Simple never would he? He has to do it the proper way.
You can see a look of dejection there on Carrigan's face. They're going to have to buy. They'll take a pause. They're going to take 4 rounds in a row cleanly. So that's to take us to overtime. That was as good a chance of any to ruin the finances of Navi. You're in a 2-on-1. Unfortunately for them, Simple, well too aware, one of the world's best. Absolutely rails Chris J at the back of the old bomb train. Tactical timeout. They want to close this out cleanly. Don't want to give anything away. Blade will be tracking the money. He knows they'll be low. I saw a scout purchased. An effective weapon, but a difficult round nonetheless. They can get this. And the follow-up round, that'll break the money. They've got a good chance of getting to overtime, but no point even considering that right now. They've got a very tall order in front of them. And what's the final complexion of the buy? One for Mass, a couple of rifles. There's a Chris J or Electronic. Surely an opening kill here. Wildly sprays off towards main, and Chris J will be dropped. Carrigan down to just 3 points of health. This should be it.
Electronic trying to go for that same play. In through Olaf, out sandwich, rat walk to E-Box. Smoke's down, they suspect his presence, but the smokes might mean he gets in far enough. He certainly does. Frozen has no idea. Kerrigan gets one back, but that's all they get so far, and they're caught off by a late lurking Boomich coming in from Ivy. NAVI back in the series. Doesn't take much to give them a chance. We go to Nuke next. Now, I did think that was Mousesports' best chance, but NAVI, the way they're playing, depending on the half, depending on the start they get, if they get CT, we might be on for Mirage even still. But we, either way, are getting treated to a series we expected, a very close affair between both teams.
Let's see. 2-on-2 still, plenty of time. Robs in towards the break room. Don't see many CTs in this position. Makes its way towards main entrance. They have snuck through towards Olaf. He currently resides in T-spawn. He has no idea if he can commit to this. They could be held up, waiting for flanks. Smokes and flashes go over now. This looks like the commitment. Carrigan low HP, trying to get some intel under the train.
Those flashes are the reason Rob starts to go, because he knows that means their attention is inside of the site. 27 seconds.
Plant now.
Still hesitant, because there's no action on top of the train. I think at this point you almost allow them to plant. You concede it. Kerrigan can't be aggressive is the problem. Only 3. No trigger discipline, just wants the kill. Bomb still gets planted. It's Simple in another 1-on-2. And another player on red HP to try and shut it down. Good movement mechanics. Simple gets on top of Ticket. He knows they have to go for the bomb. Not planted for him, but he'll have the awareness. You'd expect Rops is going to check it.
Oh!
Simple hits that. He actually reads it, and Kerrigan.
No!
HP. Simple's got that as well.
He's back.
He's in it. This series is on. You do not give Simple time to wake up.
That might be their biggest mistake yet, letting Simple back into this series. They clinch to the third map, and he gets 2 2v1s to close things out as well. Excellent work by him. And you're right, the movement, the awareness to get up in that position. Robs was even kind of aware he was up there. I don't know how he hits that first shot. Ridiculous.
I almost think you're better off to tap in that situation, but it doesn't matter. Simple's going to hit those shots. He's going to command the round. It's as simple as that. And Kerrigan even thought, I'll sneak wide. He jumped down below. Catches him off. Some great plays. 2 from Simple, but none better than Chris's, I have to say. That was... Thank you for that, Chris.
Well, now it's a grand final. That's the kind of plays we were looking for. Simple clutches, Chris J 1v5s. Now we're talking. I'm going to move on to Nuke next. This one is just warming up. As you said, Nuke was looking good for Mousesports, but after those couple of finishes towards end, Simple's going to be all fired up. He's going to be ready to go, and I think we might even go the full distance now.
Maybe that is Simple's wake-up call. It's confidence with him. He starts building like that, and he just doesn't stop. So I could see him on Nuke just being commanding, taking fights that you'd expect no one would. He'll run through. He'll take them every time. So, yeah, I think we're in for a treat. I think this might go to Mirage. We'll see. We'll take a break. We're going to let the analysts get back on, and then we get things back into the action. What a series this is starting to turn out to be.
We know what keeps your heart beating. Drive. Emotions. Joy. Victory. Get all of this with GGBet. Go to gg.bet. Activate code HEART-BEAT and get plus 200% your deposit. GGBet. With gamers in heart.
Holy smokes, what a match this has turned out to be. Navi turned things around here on Train, and now we get to look forward to a series on our hands. Guys, beautifully played stuff there from Simple on multiple occasions. And in fact, this turned into quite the highlight reel right away.
Yeah, and I think we got some of the stuff that we highlighted after the first 2 games. We needed to see more impact from some of the other players than just Simple and Electronic. Boomich had a great start to this game, you know, when I believe he was up 10-0 at some point, 10 kills, 0 deaths, you know, really controlling that pop dog area and being very assertive towards that. He got 3 kills in the pistol round as well. He had tons of impact throughout this game. So finally we got to see Navi with more than just Simple and more than just Electronic. We got to see the entire core playing well, and this is how good Navi can be when everything is going their way.
Absolutely, and it's finally that they get to the point where they can actually leave Simple in these situations where he can do his crazy stuff. We saw it time and time again towards the end of there, but being it 1v1s or 1v2s or what have you, he can handle all of that stuff. But obviously, his team needs to be able to get him into that position, and I think that's exactly what we saw out of Boomich.
And even looking at what Simple's done in this map, it's not even just so much the clutches. We're talking about, I think he had some 8+ multi-kill rounds, which is pretty much standalone on his own ground there in terms of this entire match itself.
I think it was flawless in opening rounds as well. I think he was 6-0 in the opening duels as well. Obviously, like he goes into, I guess, very set duels knowing that he has an op and everything. But again, you got to perform and do it when the opportunity is presented for you, and he did that exceptionally. So nothing really to complain about on the side of Navi. I was really worried for what they were going to showcase on their T side. Luckily, they got a good groove off of the strong opening from Boomich and Electronic, and they were able to roll off of that. And I think just in general, they look more coordinated than what they've done in the past.
And just to back you up there, Halvor, that was 6 opening kills.
Yeah.
Out of 0. Yeah. There was just no response there from Mousesports.
Just look at the screen right there. You saw Voxic go 1 against 8 up against Simple right there. He won 1 duel out of 9 against Simple. That's the 2 main AWP players of the lineups. It's safe to say that Voxic didn't play well in the first map. He didn't play necessarily well in the second map. And on the third map, he was non-existent here in Train. He's not having the series of his life. And Mousesports is still somewhat competitive. So I'm going to go as far as saying with Voxic turning up, there's still no chance that Navi can win this series overall, I feel. But with Voxic being missing out so badly right now, and this guy on the screen right here playing some of the, I wouldn't say best Counter-Strike we've seen him play, but some of the Counter-Strike we know him to play, and we know that he's able to play, then it's still possible for Navi to fight their way back into this one, without a doubt. This was a great showing. Again, all the players had impact. Flamey had a few rounds as well. Electronic, as we talked about, Simple. All of the players seem to be functioning well on a map like Train. So we need to see that carry over to Nuke, which is going to be the 4th.
Yeah, that's where we've got to head there. Before we do get there, I think it is also important to note, because we talked about it prior to this map starting, was the fact of Boomich showing up versus Kerrigan showing up. And as we saw the numbers that they just ran there on the screen, that's what happened. And you wanted a competitive game? We'll give you one.
I got it.
Yeah, and that's a super important thing, especially on Train as well. If you think about how much of Mousesports' T side actually revolves around Kerrigan being able to move about, like whether it's diving into in behind 5 Train, behind the smokes, or actually just sitting around, kind of similar to what Navi have been able to do at times with the Electronic as well. But that's such an integral part of how Mousesports play T side. He got shut down by both Electronic and Boomich to start the game off, and all of a sudden you have a swell of rounds for Navi. They're sitting at a 5-0 lead. Obviously, the one thing that kind of saved the entire game, really, for Mousesports was that absolutely insane 1-on-5 from Chris J. But, yeah, no, they kind of built the foundation already at that point by denying one of the basically go-to moves of Mousesports in such a grandiose fashion that Mousesports were actually a little bit flustered.
So you're telling me that there was a world where Mousesports run this back and we go to potentially overtime?
I mean, it looked like that for a little bit.
Okay,
and
you agree, Pimp?
Chris definitely gave them a spark.
I would say Chris gave them that spark, but overall Navi was the better team here. I think Simple as well. You know, he won a few clutches as well that could have gone the way of Mousesports. So it was a game that was going back and forth, and yes, with a few different outcomes of some of those rounds, it could have been much closer, potentially even overtime. But I think the overall sentiment you're sitting back with after watching Navi play right here was that they were the better team, and again, without Voxic showing up for Mousesports on such a map where you require your AWP to show up, you require your op to deny map space and to win some of those duels. It's important for him to be there and have an impact, and Voxic in this case didn't. So I think Mousesports was struggling a little bit here, but it was down to the fact that Navi were actually playing well, and Simple again, 29 kills, clutches all over the place. It's just great to see.
That definitely helps, Halvor.
Yeah, and one more positive as well. It took them 3 maps, but they finally got there. They won their first pistol round.
Oh my goodness, would you believe that?
It's taken a bit, but maybe this is the start of something good.
Well, that also just brings me to where I wanted to take this, is the fact that Navi did find themselves pretty back against the wall when they came into this map. Now that they've found some footing, they found a little bit of the taste of success. Do we think that that's going to help them kind of like have something to go with here? I mean, otherwise we were looking at a pretty shut case for a best of 5. Now Navi seem like they've shown up.
I mean, I think it's a really good thing because up until this match, you pretty much could have written off Boomich just impact on the series as a whole. Okay. I think he salvages that in a big way. That's obviously something he's going to feel really good about coming into Nuke as well. Considering how as free-flowing Navi can be at times on this map too, I think it's important that your individual players actually have the confidence and feel like they can go toe-to-toe with Mousesports players. If you're just feeling like you're having a game like Voxic did, for example, like every time you see a certain player on your screen, just like, oh, no, not again.
Simple in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if that's had to be the case for a fair few of the Navi players, then I don't see them actually having much of a chance on Nuke. But yeah, this is a massive turnaround for them that should instill them with a lot of confidence.
Let's talk a little bit about that turnaround for Boomich as we look towards Nuke. Just looking at the numbers here in the first map, Dust 2, he goes 14 and 23. That's not super amazing. It's not a super high ADR either. It's not going to make sense. You look at the second map, it goes 7 and 21. Also not incredible. Imagine that. But here is just a night and day difference. And I
24 frags or something,
yeah,
right?
like we could pull that up too. Yeah, he was +6, 24 and 18. He certainly showed up here in the series, but moreover, is that going to be that extra boost that they need over Navi?
I think it could be. I think it has to be. As I said before, we know Simple is going to play well. We know Electronic is going to find impact, have an impact on a game, but we need to see Boomich, we need to see Flamey, and we need to see Perfecto also going toe-to-toe against the likes of the same players of Mousesports. You know, the one big thing that is scary to me right now is the fact that Voxic is having a rough series overall. It's not that he's playing bad per se. It's not that he's, you know, totally out of it, but this train performance wasn't great, and he hasn't had one of those games where he's dropping 25 frags or 30 frags for that matter, which we normally see him do. So for Voxic to feel a little bit, dare I say, with playing without confidence right now, going up against a Symbol that just tanked all the confidence he could in the last few rounds in that train game, that could be a scary prospect moving into Nuke, especially considering the way Voxic normally plays on the CT side. He's all over the map. He likes to go down secret, be aggressive towards Yard, take a lot of duels all the time. So if he's losing confidence in his own ability to go up against Symbol, then that could be a big difference maker coming into a map like Nuke. So I wouldn't rule Navi out of it completely, but again, it comes down to whether Boomich, Flamey, and Perfecto can find impact as well. We know what we get when we talk Electronic and Symbol. We don't really know when we talk Boomich and the other guys.
It's kind of, at this point, especially now that Boomich is in the server, is in the series, we kind of have that third wild card around there, right? Talk to me a little bit about Nuke and what to look for here, Halvor, in terms of maybe a saving grace to bring Navi back into the series. Not so much at an individual level, but more so, we know that they've picked this map, so obviously there has to be something going on there.
Yeah, again, like if you look historically, this is not an Navi map whatsoever, but if you go back maybe a year and a half at most, you definitely saw a trend from Navi where they wanted to lean more and more towards actually playing Nuke and becoming proficient at it to the point where they actually can pick it in the series, versus other Tier 1 teams, because that was one of the things that they always were lacking really in that sense, because they didn't want to play Cash, and Nuke would always kind of be that sore thing, sore thing for them that really hurt whenever a team picked that against them. You know, Liquid are proficient on it, Astralis are proficient on it. Pretty much any team at that level is proficient on Nuke. So they had to take some measures and actually work on it, and they've done so as well. I think they have a solid base game, I guess. The one thing that worries me with their T-side is it might become a little bit one-dimensional and too focused on what the individual is able to, complete for you. But again, if they can actually have people showing up, that should still net to 5 to 6 rounds on a T side. And again, once it comes over to the CT side, it comes more down to necessarily if you figured out your rotation, of which most good teams have, communication is going to be on point as well. So I don't think they have to necessarily worry too much about what goes on their CT side. And I also think it's an added benefit that out of all the maps we've seen Perfecto play with Navi, Nuke was probably the one where he felt the most comfortable.
Just looked at least from the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Just from an eye test. It's also where he had I'm pretty sure his highest rated performance as well. So, there are positives here to look forward to for Navi.
Well, within the confines of Nuke, Jacob, I'm going to have to ask you if you're on the same page there. But I also have this sneaking feeling that there's a chance we have an Inferno repeat, which is kind of terrifying.
I think that potentially could be the case. We will have to wait and see, obviously, but some of the win condition for Mousesports is the team play, right? It's the fact that all the players are having impact. They find impact exactly as they did on Inferno. I think they're a very strong, fundamentally good team on a map like Nuke. We know Kerrigan is good at rotating around. He's good at reading the game. He has some good mid-game reads and mid-round reads. So there's a lot of stuff that is pointing towards Mousesports in this game, but there's always the X factor in Simple, and it's boring to talk about all the time. So I want to focus on the other guys.
It's kind of his fault that he's so good, you know.
I guess it is, but it's more the case of Navi. Are they, as I said, and I posed the question before as well, are they there yet, right? Are they strong enough yet? Have they been practicing enough in order to take on a team like Mousesports, who are fundamentally sound? Some of the stuff that is not going the way of Mousesports right now is Voxic. We talked about him not feeling comfortable. So again, if he's not showing up, then that's going to make it much easier for Navi to get away with, I wouldn't necessarily say mistakes, but get away with, you know, lack of practice and lack of time spent on the map. So it can be an open game, but I think if Mousesports get off to a good start, whether that's going to be on the T side or the CT side, I'm having a hard time seeing how deep Navi can dig into this map. It's still early for them, so I'm going in with no expectations whatsoever for Navi.
And that's the way to live, first and foremost.
That's the
way to live, right now.
And if they can surprise my expectations, if they can, you know, make this competitive, potentially even win it and bring it to a 5th, then I'd be over the moon.
Over the moon. Now, we brought up the fact that they did play Nuke. We brought up the fact that Perfecto looked comfortable. It looked like somewhere that he wanted to play. I pulled the stats up here via HLTV.org. Shout out to those guys. I'm looking at the T side here for Navi on Nuke, and it just seems like it was a little more cohesive rather than what we've seen on other maps. Is that going to be a case here, or was that just the matchup versus Godsent where they kind of, in a way, can overpower them?
I think it's a good mixture of both. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, in the sense that, I mean, I think the foundation of what Navi wants to do is still there on the T side. But again, they're going to go up against a more disruptive squad. They're going to go up against people who are having more success in just taking the duels, because if you think back to the Godsent matchup that Navi had, a lot of what saved them out from 4v4 situations or actually broke them in towards bomb site was, whether it was Boomich, Electronic, or whoever on that side, they would actually win at that one crucial duel, and there wouldn't be the necessary follow-up from Godsent's end to actually keep the tension of the round. So I think that's going to be a much bigger task to overcome for Navi versus Mousesports, but it's definitely doable, and it's definitely there, because with the foundation that they've built for themselves, they will get into those scenarios once more.
And Jacob, I think you are absolutely onto something there when you're saying that, we kind of beat this into the ground. We're talking about the simple electronic story. How far can we take this, and when are they going to show up? Maybe they don't show up. What about over on the other side? When we talk about players like Frozen having just huge games here.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different strings to play off if you're Mousesports. I feel we saw Chris J have that wonderful clutch on train.
That was something.
He's a guy that can go off and take over an entire map, and I feel that's the case for pretty much all the Mousesports players, to be completely honest with you. The one player we haven't seen perform well, we talked about it already, that is Voxic, so let's see if he can step it up a notch, and then I would love to see Frozen, take more charge of a Mousesports lineup. I think Kerrigan would love to see the younger players go off. We know Rubs is a great player as well, so plenty of strings to play off if you're Mousesports. We just need to see them work together, and if they can do that, if all 5 players is there to fight Navi on Nuke, then as said, it's going to be incredible tough for the somewhat Ukrainian boys over there.
So, well, listen, Jacob, do you have us going to a 5th map, or does it end here?
I think it's going to end here, but I think it's going to be competitive, and I think Simple is going to have his fun right here.
And I'm going to have to hit it at you, Halvor, because obviously we need to get into the game sooner.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. I think it ends here. I've been wrong before, but I think I might be right. I think I might be right on this one.
Been wrong before. Wouldn't be the first time. I've never been wrong personally. I'm kidding. I've definitely been wrong. Humility. It's healthy. It's good for you. Anyway, we're going to go into that break. We do have that 4th map. It looks like Mousesports have that opportunity to close it out still, but Navi are not going to go down without a fight. We're going to go to that quick break. We'll be right back with Henry G and Sadakist.
The prediction of 3-1 might have been accurate that I made earlier, just for the wrong team. Mousesports now have a chance to wrap up this series for a second time on Nuke. Should they fail to do so, we go the distance and we settle it on Mirage, with Simple coming on the way that he did late in train, or on train, I should say.
Yeah.
Chance that could still happen. However, I do think that this is the map that was the most foregone in terms of the prediction.
Well, I thought that was quite foreboding of what's to come from Simple, because we've been saying it throughout the series so far. First two maps, sure, wasn't terrible, wasn't amazing, but he was there. And those last couple of rounds on train, you could start to feel him come to life. He thought, I'm going to have to take matters into my own hands. A couple of 2v1s at the end, and we got to Nuke as well. There's still a chance you go the full distance, and NAVI can win this.
Yeah, and we started to see those mechanics come back. The quick drop down, Pop Dog, obviously the double peek toward Rops, who was already on red at the top of heaven, or in control room, if you will. Pretty special when Simple gets into that mood. So we'll see if he can do that again for Mousesports' sake. They'll be hoping that he doesn't. It also does mean that we go knife for sides, as we do on every map in this event. If we get Mousesports on CT first, it might be better for them.
I think so. If they can get themselves on the CT side of Nuke, they are a very skilled team. It was unfortunate they couldn't close things out on train. It was looking great for them until the clutches started to fall apart. But remember, they did have a 1 versus 5 from Chris J as well. Yeah. Absolutely magical scenes there. But NAVI stayed resilient. They bounced back from it. They didn't let it crush their morale, which is important. Boomage still getting the ropes as being an in-game leader. High pressure environment. Played very well so far in this tournament. One of his best I've seen, at least. Electronic in contention for MVP for sure. Fantastic. 2-1 currently as we head into the 4th map of Nuke. That map has played a lot more these days, Matt, because of the simple fact that when Cash was removed, Vertigo was brought in. No one really wanted to play Vertigo. They had to kind of plug holes, and you see a lot more teams leaning on Nuke. Seeing as a bit more familiar territory than Vertigo, we're seeing a lot more interesting approaches now. Although it's quite cookie cutter in terms of the smokes, there are variations of it. And some of the teams like Mousesports especially are very good at exploiting the fact they can get on the vents and crush that lower bomb site.
Yeah, you can put the smoke wall red crate and cover secret, or you can move it slightly to the left and cover off the big garage if you want to wrap. There's you're right. A few variations, but it's pretty clear on what the intentions of each of those are. Obviously, if you're putting it further to the left, you can isolate, potentially wrap. So, yeah, watch for that outside. I still haven't seen very many people go back to that Molotov that used to deny the smoke. That was a pretty cool idea.
It's because now the smokes, are like they're aware of it. They can throw very high-angled smokes that like land directly on
there
top.
has been adaptations. You're right.
And or you could just wait. But you don't have to do the smokes at the very start of the round, per se. So, very important knife, actually, on Nuke. And it will be Mousesports to pick it up. So they'll be starting the CT side. You'll see the huddles come through. Might have to speed it up a little bit. Consider there might be another map here. Maybe the huddle will have to be passed up this time. We'll find out as we get into Mousesports CT side. Now, they have presented a lot of aggression on their CT pistols especially. Now, one thing about Nuke is its characteristics don't really lend itself to aggressive play. Simple said it's the aggressive team he's up against today, and they'll have to sit back on the CT side. You can push towards ramp, but that's about it. Like you
can push toward ramp, and you can be cheeky. You can have sort of passive aggressive outside. You can get under silo, but again, you're holding when you do that. You can get to the secret stairs as opposed to inside of the big garage. So there's a few different ways to go about it, but yeah, odds are dead even. I think that's 100% accurate. Good time to get over to GG.bet and get involved as we get into what will be our guaranteed second last map of the event, perhaps the last, if Mousesports get off to a good start. They do get the CT side that we talked about. Damage is against them early, and they've lost both Voxic and Kerrigan. Perfecto and Simple with the kills to start it off as Boomich runs back in through the huts. Taken out by Flamey is Chris J, who tried to find ground on the last footing inside of the site itself. Now they wrap back in. It's frozen. Rops aren't done. They actually get to Electronic. He didn't have to take that fight. He already has heaven. He could fall off the angle. Bomb is down. And it's suddenly a turned around. This could be 6-1 in terms of pistols.
How did this collapse? It felt so good. They got the opening two kills. It was all coming together, and now it's all down to Boomich. He has got the bomb on his back, but now very low HP. A bullet to the chest as well, and now onto the head. Frozen to bring the round back there. That is a disaster for NAVI. It was just a foregone conclusion, it felt like. They had all the kills going in their favor. All the action was going in the T direction. At this point, headshots coming in for the USP, starts to fall apart very quickly. Boomich, with the bomb down, could do nothing about it. Insane.
That is a bit ridiculous that that's how it works out, that the fact that he's able to get those kills, both Frozen and Rops, Electronic faces, and yes, okay, the bomb is down, but he could have gone so many other ways. He could have backed off that battle. He could have wrapped around outside, dropped down that way. Again, I say 5-1 pistols right now. Mousesports dominating that statistic, and that's a big one because that usually yields to, well, exactly the scenario we see now. One team having money and one team not, so momentum on the back of it.
Mousesports 1, NAVI 0. No force buy here, just Deagles. No smokes to cross. Defensive angle from Voxic.
He's got the FAMAS at the ready for it. Flamey, we saw him in front, shot over the box and actually got Chris down in heaven. So the start is favorable for Navi. We know how powerful they are with the pistols. We saw it on Dust 2. Damage is done, but overextending. Voxic makes it a 5-on-3 for the moment. Very, very slight and short moment, however, because immediately they trade back 2. Flamey, an electronic drop. Drops is still aware they're outside, but they're not done yet. Perfecto at range. Chance for another headshot. Can actually spam with the Deagle. It has enough penetration, but they run instead, and Kerrigan gets the bomb. Bit of a gamble from Simple because that is the key in the round. Bomb is now in the possession of the CTs.
It absolutely is. Boomich again. Unfortunately, doesn't have many points of access here. Down to just 26 points of health. Needs a mistake from the CT side. Whether that will come in, I'm not so sure. 25 seconds. One bullet from the FAMAS will take him down. Can grab the bomb, can't go lower. Has to commit towards this upper bomb site. Maybe he gets one kill here, but out-positioned, outmaneuvered, and we will find ourselves with a 2-0 start. But remember, that wasn't the force buy, Matt. That was just Deagle, no armor. So they've done a great job there to find those 3 kills. They're going to be buying up into this round, I would imagine. And this is a chance now to really sink their teeth in to this T side. AK is coming forward. A difficult round here for Mouse, and we talked about it. A lack of aggression available on the CT side can be a problem, especially when you're operating with the SMGs here, but you can make it work on a map like Nuke. You just have to adjust, play tighter angles. They've still got the AWP for Voxic here.
He's going to back off the garage for now. That lets Boomich get much closer. No smokes, and they're going straight towards Secret. They're actually going to get there. Not only are they going to get there, they're going to face the fact that there's no smokes and take the battles, win the duels. Mousesports in a bit of trouble, down 1 man. We'll see if they can recover. As Rops climbs up into the heaven, it'll give him a bit more vision of the yard. Frozen's gone. He is as well. All on to Chris J, and I think this one's done. Navi get back into it 2-1. Good time to get on top of things in the first gun round, keep themselves in the economic situation, and not only that, as we say T-side, you definitely want to get rounds as early as possible so you take stress off late.
Yeah, it was always going to be a very difficult round there for Mousesports, considering they lost so many of their players in the previous round to the Desert Eagles. A faster paced play from Navi, and a force buy in response now. Mousesports will bring out the M4 for Rops, Desert Eagles, CZs, and a scout for Voxic. He is exceptional with the weapon, but Navi should be able to tie things up at 2-2 here. But they have been overzealous at points, over-aggressive. Sometimes giving up too much space, sometimes just committing too much individually.
Frozen's the one that needs to be very aware of the fact that they're not inside of the secret, but you're squeaky. But if they get that, they'll have to rotate off of his command. He's trying to keep things close as he dare. Rops, meanwhile, has the rifle. Still holds at the main entrance, not peeking outside, wants to play in a position of rotation for that, so he can cover off the squeaky door, as we mentioned. He can swing back outside and cover off Secret if he needs to, and he can drop down should the time come to do so. Perfecto going to set the smokes for outside. Electronics still there in a position to cover anyone that responds or tries to rush over and close the gap. Additional smoke thrown from way over toward the roof, so that's a one lurk player, one late player that's not going to be, and as you say, that actually is a different bounce, so it would be hard to cover that with the Molotov.
Yeah.
But one player who's not actually going to be outside, so they're trying to sell this. And then hit upstairs. Perfecto starts it. He'll take out Rops. Frozen still holds his ground. Sees at 75. Sees the feet. Low HP on the second, but he's not ready for it. Perfecto slides. Good start from him so far in this game. Most impact we've seen, I would say, in the early rounds. As he gets 2 kills once more. Chris, he's got an AK picked up. And the bomb down. They get in behind. Perfecto drops, but Boomich has Voxic. Chris isn't done. He fights forward. He had that weapon. He had the rifle. And he has a chance. That is ridiculous aim as he finds Boomich as well.
That's so sick. He's done it again. It's not a 5-on-1 this time, but the impact is significant, I have to say. The AK-47 picked up a crisp headshot to close things out. It was a Desert Eagle and chaotic scenes there on the upper bomb site that really got Mousesports back into the CT half. That was a force buy. answering back with great style there. And it always feels like those are the rounds Na'Vi do struggle the most. There's always a minute on the clock. There's always so many players running around, smokes everywhere. And this time doesn't work out for them. Might want to take a pause here. Still could be our final map. Na'Vi pulled one back on train. Simple. Clutching out twice to finish things off. And a timeout here. So this could have been cool by Regin, just considering you've just won with the Eagles. They're going to force fight back. We know what Na'Vi are like.
Yep.
This is the war of attrition. Who will blink first? Who will break the serve of their opposition? So the force comes in. You can see what a powerful one it is as well. You've got Kriegs, AKs, and a Deagle for Flamey. Still with decent utility as well. They actually have the better buy here.
So smokes are there, but they're not accurate at all. The first one's way off. Voxic sees it, but they're going to identify that themselves and throw an additional one. That'll cover the gap. Chris, I say it's very lackluster. I say it's going to cover the gap. I'm surprised Chris went that far back because he actually could see it from the box. They still get down. So Electronic is in the stairwell. First time we'll see Secret come into the equation. We haven't seen a lot of the lower side at all so far, to be fair. Whereas it seemed yesterday when we saw Nuke, that was all we saw. Constant battles underneath. Chris is limited in his movement range based on the flames down behind the blue crate. Boomich still gets found from him and his AK as the bomb gets gathered. 54 seconds, they've got to start making moves. Perfecto looking solid again on the entrances.
Yeah, solid spray control, brings it back to a 4-on-4. 45 seconds remain. Electronic with an access point towards Secret. Carrigan there, MP9 in hand. Does he commit to this? Electronic at 35 points of health. If he swings now, Carrigan's got a guaranteed kill. The Molotov going around as well. There it is. Lovely work. Good timing. And now Frozen's in trouble. If he gets one, that will do. He's going to burn.
He seemed fireproof for a while. Apparently he was quite frozen. Took a while to thaw out. He nearly got a shot for a second. As Simple wants more than that from inside of Squeaky. Actually gets through the edge of the vent to do so. 7 seconds. He's got it down to the one-on-one. Robs just needs to stay alive, but he has nowhere to hide. It's the kill instead, and Simple was not expecting to be exposed. Why would you? You'd think he's trying to survive and use the time, and he wanted to get the plant.
He was just committed up there in the rafters, and he had the worst weapon for the job as well, the UMP. Oh, a squeaky bum time at that point. He missed the first headshot, but does convert the kill in the end.
If he had any information that he was there, he's ready to fight. But again, he thinks he's going to be hiding. So the best thing he can try and do is get that bomb down. You have to start planting with 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Because Simple had that. He actually had the advantage. He could peek behind Hut. There's, like I said, there was nowhere Rops could have hidden in that situation.
Deagles again. No armor, no nades, and you can see the CT certainly have some. It's going to be Electronic to go down at the start. Good response coming in, though. Should be another kill here for Rops, no problem at all using that scope. Just chewing through Na'Vi at this point, looking for a 5-1 scoreline.
Very distance position from Rops. I mean, those one-on-ones make all the difference. We're at 4-1 now for Mousesports. They take back the economic lead. Boost behind Red. Rops had the lineup right, certainly anticipated it, but they didn't present themselves. And they won't when he re-peaks either. So he'll have to be a little bit more patient with the Krieg. Perfecto's only left with 7, by the way. So hardly alive in this round that I think about to go down. It's Kerrigan sneaking around with an MP9. Don't have a lot of information because, again, Rops was limited, didn't get the vision, so they're not sure how close they are, but there's not a lot of activity above, and Kerrigan, I think, is going to get inquisitive. Rops gets the kill to start it off. Frozen inside, and Kerrigan got exactly what we projected would outside happen. It goes 5-1 for Mousesports. And looking very solid. Again, tactical nuke. Don't see Na'Vi play nuke too often. It's not one of their go-to maps. That's why it's deep in this best of 5. I think that's why Inferno was the key to the series for them.
Yeah, you're dead on there. You can see Mousesports looking incredibly comfortable right now. It's not an individuals map. You can't carry a team on a nuke game. You can't just run into the upper bomb site and find a few kills. It's very chaotic. It's utility-based. It's all about timing, synergy. You can set your star players up. You can get the bomb down towards lower, but that is a very difficult task. Still, money not amazing for Mousesports. You can see MP9s are out. The FAMAS is there as well. up against these Kriegs, these AK-47s. Flamey gets tickled by the grenade. Outside smokes deployed. This is what you were talking about. Slightly deeper towards main entrance and the warehouse to allow you to properly investigate what's going on about T-Red and his CT's close range.
The only thing that it does do is means that player at Heaven can actually see your head above them if you go to the wide side, but it lets you wrap in faster, and that's what they want to do. They want to take main entrance control. Kerrigan, desperate with an MP9 on the ladder, hoping that the SMG could at least spray correctly and accurately to take down his opposition. Nonetheless, Navi have a two-man advantage, and the bomb to be planted at the upper site.
Yeah, that's a save. We said the money wasn't great, but there's residual cash. They had the SMGs and FAMASs due to their success they'd found before. Robs, that looked like a kill to me, but didn't quite get enough damage there towards Electronic. That's going to be 9 HP for him. Christian to save the FAMAS. No kit. Don't think he'll be doing much for this one. There it is, Navi. Nice approach towards up. I didn't take too much damage. Just to know, if you saw Carrigan firing on the ladder there, it is kind of viable, I suppose, with an SMG like that. You're probably going to get the kill at that range, but you don't get any accuracy at all. It's all random as to where the bullet's going to go when you're touching the ladder. Your feet have to be planted on the ground to get full accuracy. As we'll see, Chris J maybe get a rifle here. I don't think he'll... Oh, there it is. Got it. I thought it was just towards the locker room, but he's managed to pick up an AK at least. That will help things out dramatically as we get to the mid-stages of the half now. Round 8. AK saves. There is a buy there, but it will be compromises. You can see Voxic with $1,500. They're at the bottom end of the loss bonus right now. So a tactical timeout and a very relevant one. You can concede this round. You can just go for a partial buy and just focus on having absolutely everything. We talked about Nuke being very utility-based. You need the incendiaries to stop the rushes towards Squeaky Door, towards the hut. If you enter a round with rifles and just a few smokes, it could fall apart very quickly if they're reading that fact. They have bought into it. And in terms of incendiaries, just the one. So watch out for a fast-paced round from Navi. And there's no AWP available as well, so you might want to exploit towards outside. Round 8. Interested to see what kind of pacing we'll see from Navi. They haven't really experimented with any vent drops just yet. They don't nade out the door like most teams. Outside smoke's deployed quite early.
Boomage to work through into the hut. Kerrigan above. Well, smoke off towards Squeaky. You can see his teammate behind Frozen to hold the floor, but he's already gone. Kerrigan turns to find the response, and Simple, with very little HP, is, wow, I thought being about clever to wait for the patience, but Kerrigan's one step ahead, finds him as well.
This is looking great from Kerrigan. What a grand final he's had.
Taking the initiative, isn't he?
Yeah, they've had some amazing mid-round calls, perfect pace changes at the right time. Individually, he's right up there. Flamey, 4-on-1, no chance here. Hoping to cause a dent if possible. The bomb's already down. Plenty of time, but only the smoke and a flash, just seeing if he can catch any CTs out of position here. Most likely target's going to be Kerrigan, but he's really feeling himself right now. He's nailing absolutely everything. Silenced M4. So a teammate towards main entrance as well. He's got this one. There it is. Lovely work. 3 kills with Kerrigan.
A1S as well. I mean, that's always a tough position to hold when you're on top of the site. Yes, you have the advantage inside of the smoke, so you don't have the tracers. I still think it's the more accurate weapon. I don't know if that's statistically true anymore. It certainly still feels better when I use it, but it's that lack of ammunition that it has that can be so daunting when you get in a tough situation to multiple opponents.
With the slower rate of fire, like it's a little easier to control, so it can feel crispier, but you only have 25 bullets in it and less than reserve 2.
It's true, yeah, it is 25, not 20. It used to be worse than that in that way.
I think it's super viable. I love it. For the older boys, me and Kerrigan, yeah, you can sit in positions, give yourself an extra half a second without being spun on by a Krieg. I really enjoy it. It's a great weapon. I think we'll see it be used more in situational circumstances, depending on the map and position.
I still wouldn't mind that you could make a selection in-game to swap.
I think so. It doesn't really make a massive difference, does it, if you could use one or the other? Unless they had dramatic price differences, I guess. I don't know. Either way. So this is the partial by now from Navi. 6-2 down, but it's a very CT-sided map. Not so much these days, but we'll go with that narrative for now. One Krieg in the hands of Flamey.
Work the way around the red crate. Flamey's taking the charge. Massive gaps again. They're not putting good smokes down outside, but they still want to get towards secret. I still don't think I've seen the B-bomb site on camera once this game, let alone the vents. Voxic, flash out, Frozen's found first. Flamey on the kill, but Voxic still has the Krieg to work with, and you're right, the bomb is down there, well aware of it as well with it. Deagle sitting at the doors. Voxic's gonna go pursuit and aggressive toward that objective. They have downstairs finally. Again, I haven't seen down here. Even when they're there, they can't do anything with it. Perfecto's taken out. I can't see them winning this round. 25 seconds.
Well, this is actually a very good observation now, because almost every team are focusing on the lower bomb side, like in today's nuke. And we haven't really seen them go for a vent dive or nade the door out. They've had a couple of outside executions of the smoke, so they haven't really had many options to get the bomb down here. They've got 8 seconds remaining. I guess they're going to be saving these Kriegs. Need to be careful, though. If Rops has an HE, does not blow the doors open, but they'll hit towards the double doors. Mousesports will win the round, but no money picked up for Flamey or Electronic. I suppose that's fine. They're going to buy up next round anyway. They've still got $1,000 for the utility, so it doesn't really matter either way. But looking very good here in the fourth and potentially final map. 2-1 overall in the series. You can see the results and the picks in the top right of your screen right now. All kicked off on Dust 2. That was a long time ago. That all kicked off at 11 a.m. this morning. Mousesports picked it up. Myself in the fourth map now, and it's going to be Voxic with the AWP towards outside. Kriegs looking towards Secret. See, that's a cheeky little angle there. Full buy on either side. All the utility you could ask for NAVI. They haven't deployed any smokes just yet. Chris J boosted up in the ramp, I believe. That's nice to throw in. Once a half. Can be overlooked, especially a team that's not comfortable on nuke. Same deeper smokes than usual.
I'm going to try and swing Electronic around those. Again, you can be spotted from heaven, but no one was in that position. It was lockers that's held from Voxic. Electronic. He knows the smokes are actually about to dissipate behind him, but can't walk onto the flames. That's a tough situation to be in. I'm sure there was a bit of anxiety waiting for a shot to land at his back, but they'll get down there. Simple to join him. And not a lot of damage done, so this is the best chance they've had to take the lower bomb site. Flash to clear corner will confirm to Rops they are there. Molotov to force him out. He's going to go onto the stairs, keep his head down. Doesn't need to peek, but he does. He goes for it. Doesn't find it initially on the AK. You would have expected that he might have on the second peek, but that brings the advantage to Navi.
Yeah, he doesn't miss many Rops, but that one's significant. Carrigan, though, the master of the upper bomb site. The jiggle peek does somewhat bait him out with the shots, and now it's a 4 versus 3. Voxic really not in a prime position. Carrigan still fighting back, though. Bomb goes down, 18 seconds, Matt. Flashbang's decent, and Perfecto in position now. Chris J on the flank, though, 13. They can't go towards lower. Has to be a plan and up, but Chris J knows it. He's going to swing. Let it go through.
He's going to be spotted. Perfecto just barely got there. I think Navi overthought that. They had lower for the first time. They had Rops, and they thought that there was going to be an overreaction from Mousesports to panic and head toward the vents, toward the ramps. Carrigan held his own. Suddenly things got very awkward. If Chris had gone through, I think Perfecto might have turned back in time, because he did put his attention there, aware that the smoke existed, aware that the plant was going down, but absolutely the potential for a clutch existed. 7-3 Navi. Give them 5 rounds, you might give them a chance. They've got the skill on the CT side, but I'm still leaning toward Mousesports at this point.
Shotguns are brought out, are very prevalent. Item on nuke on the CT side. Mag 7 this time for Frozen. Incendiary. Not going to be successful there. Smoke lands just on top of it. Electronic given the task going down towards Secret once again. Not quite ready for it. Carrigan draws the weapon at the wrong time. Cost him his life. Galil takes him down. Unfortunate there, because he didn't have a helmet, and it's the Galil that will have the one-tap potential when that's not in play.
Find an opening on the op. Simple has not been presented with many, considering we were building him up at the end of train, thinking he would make a difference. Getting on nuke hasn't happened yet. Double drop, that's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Raining men and all of that. Voxic doesn't know where to fire, and he's going to be very dynamic. He knows that they've gone outside, so why sit toward heaven or hell at that point? Why even bother holding an angle with an AWP? He could wrap around and actually get toward main entrance. A bold play, but reverse flank them. Instead, they're going to hold their nerve, just sit back, wait it out, be patient. But losing heaven is a big problem to hold the upper site. That's one way to be dynamic. Hold the lobby instead.
Oh, they're pushing with the shotgun as well. I have to go down towards lower now. It's Electronic to cover Decon. Robs is surrounded. Oh, he's done for. I think that's the play from Electronic. The spam coming through. Robs just has to try and ignore him. Needs at least a couple. Is a prime position to do so. Oh, bomb. Takes it down. Now he knows the players towards Decon as well, but Simple somehow hits the shot. What's just happened there? Electronic and Simple light them up. And it will be the round denied. I don't know what happened there, where those 2 kills came from. It must have been towards ramp. Out of nowhere, you can see Electronic is explaining what happened there. At least I need to see it from his POV. Robs was stuck in such a difficult spot at that point. Players all around him. NAVI started to focus on lower bomb side now. You can see how effective that is. It's overwhelming for the CTs. You break through the secret defense, very difficult to manage.
Pretty remarkable that happened the way that it did, that Drops almost got away with trigger discipline, almost caught the bomb planter, as well as Electronic. He heard the door open. You could tell he was watching because he knew that if he swung on the silo, he was done for either way, and he was hesitant, but man, oh man, Simple just steps out with the op and takes him down because that could have turned the round entirely.
Here are your odds provided by GG.bet. Mousesports currently 1.63, the favorites, but this can change very quickly. This is now an eco, full eco at that. USPs, 1 PT50, a single deagle, and a confident looking Boomich just molotoving towards the CT boxes now by Warehouse. Carrigan waiting for the drop down, going to do very well to get a kill with the basic pistol. He's smoked out. It's a little bit chaotic here, Matt. The AWP to actually pick up the pieces there. One missed shot, Simple will go down. Needs to be so careful. The CT's retreating. They've picked up a Krieg. They've got the man advantage. Remember, full eco. The amount of rounds today NAVI have lost to just pistols is getting out of hand. This is something that needs to be fixed within their game.
Perfecto downstairs already. Chris J has the same weapon on the defensive side. Starting to see more and more B plays from NAVI as we get deeper into this half, and rightfully so. 2 rounds in a row finally on the T side. Absolutely makes it a contest. Flamey flashed in toward the control room stairs, but flash that certainly heard. Simple will watch the bottom side of the vents. Shotgun style AWP at that point in time. In that position to get that close. Chris still waiting for him to walk in. Door open. He sees them. He's got silo, but not fast enough to get away, and that is an incredibly quick shot from Simple. Given the situation, he nearly finds bottom ramp as well. He's left in a 1-on-3. Not, oh my goodness, aware of Frozen's position, but he actually reacts that fast. He is awake. He's back. He's in this game, and he's going to try and rush this away. He has the bomb. He can actually clutch this out. 14 seconds. He plants as fast as he can upstairs. Oh, but he heard it. He's aware. If he had gone back silo, the safe plant, he was absolutely in the clear for the plant and been done into the clutch, but now he knows he has to go aggressive, and they're both there. I thought there was a chance he hits the shot.
There was a chance. There's a universe that connects and he actually wins the round, but so much pressure being applied. It was lovely movements to actually get up towards upper, fake out the plant coming through. If he hits that shot, if he gets that kill quickly, then the plant comes through, he's winning that round all day long. But they've just lost, map, to USPs at Deagle, no nades, again. Like the amount of times it's happened in this tournament, let alone this grand final.
Yeah, the grand finals had a ton.
It's getting out of control for a team at this level. They can't give that many rounds away to just USPs. It's just got to be too much to recover from.
Kerrigan up above, smoke down at the door. They've already wrapped around behind him. They'll see the utility, so they've got the opener, and Boomich isn't done there. Never mind the USPs, never mind the force buy. They're backing up with the ball down. Robs doubles up. He has a smoke that he can hide in and disappear as well. And that makes things very awkward. The bomb seems to be the one that always gets caught for NAVI.
Yeah.
Go back to the first round, they went lower. They lost it at the secret entrance. Robs just was a fantastic entrance apart as Voxic nails Boomich. And Electronic makes something happen with a Deagle, but he's still left against Voxic on the op, who's dropped down. I don't think Electronic's aware of it. Through the gap, Voxic steals the round, and Rob starts it off. Mousesports back in control.
It's a 5-on-2. They've given up as well. They just lost their full eco and now a 5-on-2. I won't focus on that too much. What an amazing play from Robs. You're right, though. Of course, it's the bomb that goes down when he swings out the vents. An absolute pandemonium ensues. That's got to be it. That's got to be the haymaker for Mousesports. How do you recover from that one? A 5-on-2, legit 5-on-2 there. And they have to go down to an eco. for the last round. I can't believe it. We've had something unbelievable, ridiculous scenes here in this best of 5.
It's always the bomb for Navi. I don't understand what they're doing to leave it in the open so frequently. And Voxic starts off with a wall on red and then finds Electronic up above as well in a very fractional shot. Chris is going to try and back off this. Perfecto's already done for on 22 HP with only the Deagle to work with. It's going to be double digits for Mousesports on the CT side, and Navi's chances and hopes, how halted were they? You give up an eco, you have an amazing start to the round, and it looks like you can secure your economics and actually make a 9-6 possible. I don't know, again, we talk about the momentum and the confidence of Simple and how they base themselves off of emotion. I don't know that they're going to recover much. Half's probably a good thing at this point. It's probably good that this wasn't in the middle of the half. There's more rounds to spiral out of control.
Well, on comforting notes to add to the end of this first half as they are on the T side. 4 is technically enough. I wouldn't say it'd be filling you with confidence, but it's at least recoverable.
Just note the double up on Nuke, but you saw what Chris was doing. He's got an M4 close to his position, so we can swap if they don't find the picks, or if he does and then wants to be a little more combative and aggressive defensively. Oh, drop down. Molotov off, and Boomich actually finds Chris, so the first op gone already. Did fire a shot, they would have known it was there, but Voxic's already given away his position as well. Kerrigan's going to add to it. It's back to the advantage for Mousesports, only by 1. Boomich finds Rops as well. He's got good control. He's all the way around on Heaven. I think they're going to have problems holding this upper site, Mousesports, and Kerrigan's holding at main entrance, but he'll be quickly negated by a single smoke.
He's got a good angle, though, with this AUG. See what he can make of it. First kill not going to be his. Perfecto left a low HP. Voxic really coming to his own now. It's a 2 versus 1 for himself. What?
He kept the op? They had no idea he pushed all the way through? They thought he might have grabbed the AK, instead he went back? 49 seconds, bomb is picked up. They had to go back for it. Boomich is aware and goes down the vents. So this will buy him space. Now what does, okay, he does switch over. I was gonna say, does Voxic have that much confidence to stay in the AWP? No. He goes to the creek, door closed, he opens it immediately. Boomich knows exactly where to turn his attention, but there's time enough to work with.
One smoke, flashbang, so does have to come swing out of here. He knows exactly where Boomich is. The flashbang drop. This will be such a sick round from Voxic. He can't pull it off. A great effort there. Admirable. 3 kills found. They had no idea where he was. Perfecto assumed he'd gone back towards main entrance, and he actually snuck towards the squeaky door, left in a 1-on-1 against Boomich. Bombed down, had a chance, couldn't close it out. A much-needed round there from Navi. 5 is okay. That's perfectly fine. The problem is they should have had a lot more.
Yeah, but you say 5's enough. You also consider the pistols. They haven't won.
Yes.
They've won 1.
A single pistol, yeah.
Of 7 so far in this series. That's not good enough. And not when you're coming from behind on a map that you are not the favorites on. You need that advantage. You need the momentum. So if they can win that, I'll give them 10-8. I'll give them a chance in this because we know how hard it is to dig your heels in on the T side. Credit to Navi for fighting back in that situation. Flamey, headshot position, drops off. Voxic with the pressure. Boomich is going to rotate Speedway. That puts pressure back onto the other 2 players inside. But Flamey's undetected. At least stays and holds his nerve. Watch the HP. Robs was the one that was on 100. He's down. This is winnable. Managed to get the vent dive in, but they're sitting on 4 and 5 HP respectively, Kerrigan and Chris J, and they have to be very swift. Flamey's got to hit 1 shot there, and they're done. I'm surprised he doesn't.
He's going with a headshot. He doesn't have the intel. He's so low. But still has the advantage of the smoke, makes things a little bit more complicated. From the ramp, another bullet will do it. And you can see being so tentative now. They're so fragile, so squishy. The smoke providing a veil still, and it's going to be a 2 versus 1. Surely Chris J can't do this. Already had some heroics. The bomb's at a very awkward spot. What's happened there? And now it will be Electronic to defuse. Oh, close as you like. Not a comfortable victory, but the second pistol has been found for Navi.
I didn't catch if Boomich got a kill there or not, but his rotation to Speedway makes that possible because the HP saves them. Chris did so well, and Flamey had no, you're right, it was intel. He didn't know they were that low, so he didn't go for the body shots, but missed a huge opportunity to take down both pretty cleanly.
Well, the bomb did get planted, and we saw what Navi did with that before. They went for their full investment. So CZs, and here are the odds by GG Bet. You can see Mousesports still heavy favorites at this point, but that can change very quickly. After losing that pistol, they give this round up their full eco, and Voxic, he's committing off to the flashbang. Does get Perfecto in an awkward position. He'll be dropped. Perfecto, Simple, doing damage. Even more so that M4A4. And now just 1 player remaining. Chris J waits the rotations here. Should be taken down, which he is. Flamey gets him. That's a big round to take.
Game on.
Yeah, now it's a full eco. Nothing can be purchased in this next round. And NAVI have a chance to stabilize.
Looking quietly confident, simple. Final map's Mirage. We haven't seen that a lot in this event. It's become pretty neutral in the pool, to be fair. You were actually cursing it and saying that you wanted it gone and that you would rather have 2 Vertigos instead of 1 Mirage.
I just want to play Vertigo all the time, if I'm honest with you. It's the only map that I play at home. It's the only map I want to cast. That's it. Vertigo Globals, as we make our way outside, is going to be Voxic. Confident is Frozen to get the trade. A surprise approach here, knowing that the money is in a position that's a little bit awkward. You won't have the orb just yet, and now Simple have to rotate down. Trying to get as much intel as he can, communicating with his teammates here. Smoked off, Boomich has bought them some time. Sends them packing and dissuades them from their descent towards lower. Flash over, allows them to get out of secret.
Shotgun for Perfecto on the site. Again, this is the map where you'll see it most frequently used. Does struggle to rotate. That's a distance you don't want to hold. So yeah, defensive smoke, force them to get closer. He's sitting where they have to plant the bomb, so eventually they have to head his direction. And as the bomb gets planted, they try to use his smoke against him. He can't get the kill, so they actually get away with it, but he does damage. Whew. And then Voxic knew where he was dwelling on the other side. Just simple. First gun round, and it's already going to be the first T round for Mousesports. Great start.
Yeah, fantastic work. Money actually pretty low on the CT side of things. Simple has to save this M4. He's got 3K in reserve, an incendiary, a smoke, a kit. Can't go for this.
You think he's going to smoke from here and try and ninja?
Nah.
All right, he's going to fake that out and get them closer. He just wants them to go back to the bomb because if it takes a gun down, that's worth it in itself. But they're not that silly. So they'll get away, and so too will Simple with the M4 at the very least. It's a nice idea, just the smoke to force them to have to check, and then they die with the detonation. He knows their money's low, so it's a low-risk play that could actually be quite rewarding.
Yeah, especially when it's Simple as well. His presence, his name, just being alive, everyone's on edge. No one knows what he's up to. What could he possibly do next?
Yeah, that is true. If I saw Simple throw a smoke, I'd be checking.
Yeah, sorry, okay.
He's definitely there, I swear.
I'm just going to check it. I will die with the bomb, but I just need to know. Either way, it's going to be, I would assume, a buyback with NAVI here. They did save the M4 on Simple. He could drop 1 weapon. It won't be the best of buys. No one's saying that. But they can make it work. Rob's now looking poised at the end. Carrigan, the in-game lead up. Build his team from the ground up, looking fantastic now. 11-7, the buy coming through. Pistol for Perfecto. MP9 on Boomich. Quick smoke towards window outside. We'll see Chris J with confidence make his way towards ramp. No one there apart from Flamey now, who arrived late.
Kerrigan with the fast and pre-fired check towards Secret. 4-round spread, bit of breathing room, but not a lot of money, so it's a very close game in that regard. Kerrigan still continues to push forward. Red crate. Electronic is aware that they could have actually got around him. That's how little information they had outside, which is a bit of a problem because the longer he takes to check those angles, the more likely they are to push up forward in them, and that's exactly what Kerrigan is doing. Electronic's garage. He's off on the odd angle, and it's going to catch him out because he actually did not expect a re-peek rather than an angle held from Electronic. So 1 for their trouble, 2 for their pain, but that's brought back by Robson. Frozen as it's now just Flamey and Boomich to try and defend.
Now this was the force, remember. 3 rifles and a couple of pistols brought into the mix. Flamey, with no utility whatsoever, makes his way towards heaven, but I like this. Squeaky door, Boomich's got at least 1 kill. He didn't see the barrel, didn't commit to the check. They have a kit, Boomich with no smoke. He'll be the one defended here by Flamey, does damage. MP9 strikes, flashbang comes through. He has to be the one to defuse, remember. There's no kit on Flamey at this point. It'll be 10 seconds. He's trying his best to battle them through this round. The defuse coming in now is actually looking pretty good. 2 seconds. They haven't checked it.
Okay, they got him. Whew. I thought he was going to get away with that. I really thought he would hold that straight through. They were so passive on the hut.
It was the presence of the MP9 at that range. A couple of things coming through, some damage inflicted. I think the timer on screen was a little bit ahead of the actual reality there, but it did look quite exciting. It had 2 seconds on the clock when they took him down. Was every chance they could have done enough there, but unfortunately for Navi, it will be Mousesports to pick up the round. A few players survive. Full eco coming in now, 13-7. Excuse me. Looking very likely.
No structural
yeah,
breakdown tonight.
If you've got a structure, don't break it down.
Yeah, this nuclear facility is staying on the whole time.
Don't you dare touch him. Carrigan, he's had enough. He knows that the end is near. Needs to pick up the pace before we get kicked out. Bomb to be planted, and that's going to be round completed. It's going to be 13-7 now.
You'll have to take me kicking and screaming, Henry.
Oh, I will, sweetheart.
Electronic just waiting up above, bomb down already with 9 players alive. CT's not able to do much with the argument, and without any investments at all, nor do they lose anything, but nor do they serve to gain anything by going down, because they actually give money away. Kerrigan's going to get $600 extra just for that kill on the MAC-10. Simple's going to go for the... Oh, he's got to try at least once a series. $1,500 that he pulled that off. It would have been massively beneficial for his team and his teammates, but it's 13 rounds for Mousesports. 3 to go to win the best of 5, to win the GG.bet Ice Challenge in the XL Center. Start off with a small prize of $125,000 and at least get some confidence moving into 2020 for the season.
Yeah, especially for Navi as well, you know. It was a rough start to this complexion of the team. Hasn't really come together in the last year at all. Lots of roster changes, disappointing results. Amazing players within their ranks. Something not clicking. Rushing Ram, trying to punish the fact they might not have helmets here. Flamey gets a lot of damage off with the nade, follows it up with a couple of kills. That's enough. With the MP9, he's got above and beyond expectations there. So a chance to slow things down. Still a viable round here for Mousesports. They're going to be smoking towards the window. Molotov a decon. This one a quick plan at this stage. But Boomich, he knows he can deny. He can sacrifice himself. But the bomb already goes down here. And now we've talked about it all tournament long. The lower bomb site, in a 3-on-4, you would still favor the T's. And look at all this utility. 2 Molotovs, flashbangs, HEs, and nothing in that department for Navi.
The interesting thing, though, is that I don't know that they're aware. Okay, they are looking at it. Kerrigan's aware. I was going to say, I'm not sure they're totally awake to the fact that Boomich has been sitting inside of the control room for that long. They managed to at least get the creek. That is a tumultuous battle. That is tenuous through the edge of the catwalk. I'm surprised they get away with this. Rops, 6 HP. Thankfully, the Molotov goes in his favor. That's going to force Electronic away.
Can't do it.
7 seconds, he's gone. The Molotov alone will save it, and that is a remarkable feat, considering it should have been a double from the ramp. So it's going to go 14 rounds, Mousesports, with 2 to go to the championship.
Scary, scary round there. I enjoyed that from Mousesports, though. After finding themselves in a 4 versus 3, had to battle back, and it was just down to the utility at that point. The Molotovs on the bomb, making sure they made it as high pressure as possible, and the CTs to retake. Sure, they had rifles, but 2 flashbangs on the lower bomb site. It's never going to be enough, and now their backs are to the wall. Round 22, 14-7. Mousesports need 1 more for championship point. Simple's gone for the AWP, but Pistol surrounding him, a couple of rifles, and Rops. He's not slowing things down here. It's the Deagle to defend towards Ramp. Simple already tagged to 47 points of health. He'll have to fall back to a more defensive position. Smoker main entrance. Responded in kind to Squeaky. Now we'll put the brakes on for both sides for now.
Electronic holding the ladder. No accuracy while you're on it. But you can quickly accelerate off of it by use of good mechanics, and it gives you a little bit of coverage. Electronic's going to continue to try and do that as the smokes land. Molotov to clear out behind the covering of the second vent. It seems like ages ago that both vents were accessible. Used to have the play where I called it the teleportation. You dive in the first vent and come up the second one to get deeper inside of the upper sights. Simple already holding on Speedway. We saw Boomich do that in the opening pistol round. He gets the first kill in round 22 because of it, as Electronic continues to try to use that ladder, but he's forced off. Smoke's still down.
3 players on the bomb side floor. This is insane.
If they drop, I was going to say, if they drop, he's already ready for it, and if they go forward, they're already there. So he gets the kill on a Frozen, and we have more rounds because it's going to be 14-8. Mousesports, more importantly, are kept off of championship board, and Navi's chances of avoiding overtime, at the very least, are still alive.
Where there's life, there's still hope. We'll see if Robs can do anything about this. With 10 seconds remaining, I don't think so. The bomb is still towards the upper bomb side there, so he'll save the AK-47. He's got $11,000. It's negligible whether he survives or not at this point. He's going to have a full buy. And there's Boomich trying to keep the team in the tournament here.
Big bad Boomich.
Played very well this tournament. Fist bumps coming through. You've got to believe. Take every round as it comes, especially on the CT side of Nuke. If ever there was a map to have a comeback, this would be the one. You're on the CT side. You've got some of the world's best players available. And a timeout has been called. Carrigan and his coach, Rajan, discussed inner options. Similar scenes with Simple and Blade. Very tense now. A couple of rounds away from the trophy.
Tell Regine's a lot more vocal of the two coaches.
Yeah, he's very invested in this team. Like, this is his baby. Very, very hard-working coach.
Perfecto. It seems pretty quiet in these situations still. I don't see him talk too much during these dead time moments or this timeouts. A little bit chatter that time. He's had an excellent start to this game on this T side. A few kills on the ground or on the floor last round as well.
Damn. That's
fast. Yeah. To get outside and peek silo that convincingly this far to the round, 15 seconds. I mean, yes, the spawns have been moved forward on the T side, but that is impressively confident from Electronic. It's not going to be unanswered, though. Chris gets Simple back, and we sit to 4-on-4. Smoke to bounce down and cover off the squeaky doorway. Meanwhile, Smoke to cover off Ram. Flamey steps wide, but Frozen finds the trade onto him. We know that they've been playing Speedway. Watch for the hold. Chris is going to be obligated with it until they can securely get on top of the ramp. And Frozen, the mullet. The attempt for the Molotov was to keep them from rotating in on the flank, but that has failed. So they have to be aware of the possibility. Nonetheless, door opens and closes. Boomich wants to keep his security alive and his life intact. He'll take the door and break it down so he can at least peek through it, but bomb is already planted, so that's just for information, and a smoke will negate that either way.
20 seconds. We've seen this lower bomb side become a fortress before. Again, no utility, a couple of flashes, no smokes, no incendiaries. Time ticking away. Need to get their skates on now. Need kills. 10 seconds on the clock. First kill comes in. Boomich gets it. Frozen. Great position. Looking for a couple of frags. Can't do it. But here's Voxic looking to find championship point. He's done enough. The defuse can't come through. Boomich will have to save. And there we have it. Mousesports. They have broken them financially, and they've got themselves a massive buffer of rounds to close this one out and lift yet another trophy.
And that's an incredible feat. The fact that this Mousesports team has lifted more trophies than Navi, the fact that they're actually getting up toward that third spot in the world behind Liquid, behind Astralis, who are, trophy after trophy at this point. You're going to need a bigger warehouse at this point to store all their silverware. And FaZe coming on strong. The fact that Mousesports and Kerrigan are able to build a team and continue to improve so effectively, they're absolutely a force for 2020. And don't discount them for a major title if anyone falters in the slightest. Look how fast they are this time as well. Boomich goes over top. It is Electronic who found the kill outside last time to at least shut it down. Perfecto 2 on the MP9. It's on to Chris in a 1-on-2. Perfecto's low. He has a chance.
He can do this.
He can do it. We saw him clutch 2 1v5s. He certainly can. Drive-by shooting for Perfecto. No reaction time from Chris. He only loses a fraction of health. He's down to 73.
He's got so much time to work with that. Luckily didn't take a lot of damage. Chris J. One smoke. One Molotov. I'll see where Flamey's positioned. He's currently in the ramp room, I believe. Difficult to tell on the minimap. But Perfecto, he needs to find a weapon if possible. Still on that MP9. Guns all over the place. But doesn't want to make any sound cues here. And they're both towards upper. Chris can smoke and plant. He might as well. No point faking it.
It's told.
And here they come. Molotov available. First kill should be guaranteed. No, that's Perfecto actually nailing it there.
I'm surprised by that. I thought he easily gets away with that one.
Yeah, a bit anticlimactic at the end. I thought Chris J would own that first kill, and then the one-on-one would really begin. Unfortunate. Good hold with the small weapons towards upper. They were going for the haymaker towards the upper bomb side. Didn't quite connect. Still standing, NAVI. entering the next round now. Looks to be a potential timeout. Gotta hold their nerve here. 59.
Missed those ninja swipes. So simple on the AWP. It's the last buy for Mousesports, but they've got a couple rounds in hand to build back into it, so it could go to 15-11. Simple quick up the ladder and immediately throws Incendiary inside a hut, so there will be no rush. There will be one outside, already inside a secret. Rotation from Boomich. He gets down the vent as quickly as he possibly can. Gap in the smoke. He wants to try and play the feet on the, I was going to say stairs. If he backs off, he can actually align himself to see them more clearly, but a Molotov behind him prevents him from doing so, and Rops, he got in behind afterward. The player that rotates leaves a gap, and Rops identifies it. Frozen capitalizes. That is an incredible grid mount call from Rops, but it's not done yet. Perfecto and Simple each finding a kill in return.
Look at the HP. Frozen, Rob so low. Chris J will have to do the heavy lifting once again. They have a minute. They can slow this down and piece together the jigsaw. They have one smoke that's been deployed. I say they smoke that and they're going to go towards upper maybe. Chris J seems happy just to get that plant down. They're going to spam it. Frozen makes a footstep just to buy him a little bit of time there.
Does Simple have a kit?
He does.
Oh, I thought he might just drop.
Yeah, I thought
if
that
someone
for a
made
second
noise
too.
and he just instant diffuses, because there's still a good amount of time on that smoke. There's about another 4 seconds even now as it dissipates. Okay, I was a little off on that, but enough that there was certainly a 4-second diffuse available. Simple waits to get baited in. He'll take Frozen down.
Chris J looking to close things out here. This could be enough, map. It's going to be Simple in the 1 versus 2. There we have it. They close it out in style, and it will be Mousesports picking up yet another trophy here. This was their 5th final in a row, and they managed to close it out in 4 maps against NAVI. Fantastic performance there.
Incredible team they've turned out to be. Frozen rising to his own again as the young player joining the team late. And Kerrigan continues to prove his worth as an in-game leader. You asked about rivalry yesterday. I actually look forward to seeing the reformed FaZe go up against Kerrigan and Mousesports, because that will be one to talk about. That could be the greatest battle and rivalry at the top level of CS for NAVI. Good, but not good enough. That seems to be the case time and time again. They need to improve. They need to get to winning ways.
Yeah,
they've got so much skill.
Yeah, there's so much talent and potential within this roster. It needs to be realized, though. The